second there, Hender.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I must be cold. I should also say what a fascinating interview that was at lunchtime. Nassim in, bowls to Wokes. Ball is just arcing away ever so slightly, but he leaves it alone, and it's through the keeper again. I think if you look at the score in separation, you'd say yes, that it's reasonably well poised. But yes, this tail is a bit of a worry, though. Of course, there is the great Stuart Broad to come, and we know what he did against the West Indies in the final test. Third and fastest 50
historically against Pakistan as well.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, he will look back to the time when he was facing a similarly highly rated youngster at Lords, Mohammed Amir. Nassim Shah in, he's gone after that, Wokes, and he nods acknowledgement. I'm not sure he should have been acknowledging the bowler. I think he should have been admonishing himself, because he really didn't need to play at that. It was swinging away. It started wide enough. He has batted quite well. He's played one or two nice shots, Woke, since he's come to the wicket, but that wasn't one of them, I'm afraid to say. Nestlers, how are you doing?
I'm looking at Knackle waving frantically.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what he's waving frantically at the moment. There's still 3 balls to go in this over.
Jingles, presumably.
Batters jingles.
Oh, batters jingles. Okay, well, we'll do those. Now that is a lovely drive by Wokes, but unfortunately he's picked out Yasir Shah at extra cover, and there is no run. Okay, go for the batters.
He's on Instagram, and he's a Twitter fan. On the Ashes tour, not Ben Stokes, but he'll have to do.
Pryor ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone subtler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler.
Here comes Nassim again, 1 for 37, bowling to Wokes, and he does him with an absolute beauty there. Forced him back right into his crease. Couldn't lay a bat on it as it moved away from him. And, well, that would have kept Mohammed Rizwan and the slips there excited. He is rather backing away from that, isn't he, as he plays the shot. Swung it into him and then took it away off the seam. Beautiful bowling from Nassim Shah. And I think we have to say that all the critics, all the people that we've read, all the people who've commented about this boy, they've seen him before, were right. That said, he's only got 1 for 37. Final ball of the first over after lunch. He's into Wokes. Wokes leaves this one about 8 inches outside the off stump, and through the keeper it goes. Maiden, England 159 for 5, and some tweets.
Well, there's a lot of love for the interview that Tony carried out. Jeff Perkins says, good interview with a great guest, but depressing. Yeah. Joe Grover, there's another book I'm going to have to get based on the GC Book Club recommendations. Cheers, Tony and Mr. Gray. Cracking interview. Jeff Perkins, it's not your fault. I hope was the church involved?
I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, Yasir Shah is going to bowl straight after lunch as well. 9 overs, 1 for 41 are his figures. Shall we jingle him up?
Oh, pet! Here comes a leg spinner. He's got a googly to admire.
Is it a googly that he's bowling first up? No, it isn't. It's one that goes straight on and Butler leaves it alone. Is there more of that jingle to come? Seemingly not. That's one of my favourite jingles, I have to say. And I think it edges Grubby's version, I have to say. Sorry, Grubster.
Grubby!
What a ball! Has he bowled him? I think he has. He's played all round it. Not sure what he was trying to do there. Butler just play a normal forward defensive. That might be the googlies who admire. We'll have to see that one again. He could only have flicked the bail because I didn't see any disturbance of the stumps. I did just see Mohammed Rizwan leaping about with excitement. Yes, it's just clipped the top of off stump. And, well, I think we can say now, as Fred was intimating, that Pakistan are well on top. Oh, and why did anyone give lunch to Joss Butler? Poor old Joss, he'd done all the hard work. Hope to cash in this afternoon a little bit, but Yasir Shah was struck with one that didn't turn. I think it was the one that just went straight on. He was playing perhaps a tiny bit for a bit of spin, and that enabled the ball to wheedle its way through the tiniest of gaps and take out his off stump. There we go. Very sad for Josh Butler, but brilliant work from Yasir Shah, and a brilliant boost for Pakistan straight after lunch. Tweets.
Leia is very happy because the book is available in Germany. Typing Shan says, top interview by Tony with a most thoughtful, albeit a tad lubricous author. I think it's probably very late at night in Australia, isn't it?
I'm guessing it is in parts of Australia. Yes, it's probably about 11 or 12 o'clock in Melbourne and Sydney. Dominic Bess is coming to the crease, so we should jingle him up. I hope he's going to stay a reasonable amount of time. We shall see.
If the pitch isn't good for pace, get this lad on his bowling's ace. But if you need someone who bats, you should just save Dom Bess for last.
Well, he's not been left till last, he's been left till number 8. And this is an important innings for him, an important innings for England, who are up against it now after a better morning than some of us thought they would have, but immediately back under pressure as soon as lunch has been taken. 159 for 6. Dominic Bess out to the middle. Yasir now 2 for 41. That was just his second ball after lunch. And now we'll be coming into a fellow spinner. And you sometimes find that spinners are not very good batsmen against spin bowling. He's in, bowls to Bess. Bess is fine in this instance as he just presses forward and defends towards extra cover. And there is no run. Yes, Tony. I think Tony could be the new Michael Parkinson. Anyone think that? He's in again. Bess forward. Fuller delivery this time. Didn't really have a chance to spin. That's smothered by Dominic Bess in a forward defensive prod.
By that, do you mean he'd be totally inappropriate with Helen Mirren?
Who wouldn't be? Well, you know, a few years ago perhaps.
Well, I'd hope you wouldn't.
I know, I'd be very appropriate.
You're a perfect gentleman.
I would be appropriate, although I might dream of not being appropriate. Anyway, here comes Yasir Shah. This one is more on the line of leg and middle, looking for it to turn back across Bess and maybe clip out that off stump, but he defends it well, just a little bit too full perhaps. Yasir just needs to bring it back as he did with the second ball of this over. He's in again, bowls to Bess, and he goes past his outside edge. That one was the one that turned, and it turned too much past Dominic Bess. So a great start for Pakistan after lunch. England, without the addition of a run, are 159 for 6. Nestlers.
Oh dear. Yeah, Jay Grover says, I swear Hendo is the boy who cries wolf. I try to multitask and then yelp in rage because I think Wokes is out.
No, I like drama. You know me, I'm a bit of a drama queen. And I think, Jay, I think you are as well. Wokes is 15 not out. Ollie Pope went for 62 this morning. Josh Butler's just gone for 38. England needs significant contributions from the lower order in the tail there. They really do. Jofra Archer has got to get stuck in when he does get out there. Otherwise, England are going to have a lead, or a deficit, I should say. A lead would be nice. A deficit is more likely. And, well, it's the young and the old at the moment. It's 17-year-old Naseem Shah, 34-year-old Yasir Shah. The Shahs are doing the work. This one hits Wokes on the pad. There's a massive appeal, but it never looked out to me. It looked like it was going down, if not over leg stump. And I don't think there will be a review of that. Azhar Ali is just looking quizzically. He is going to review it, funnily enough. That looks all right to me. I think that Wokes will be okay. It may just be clipping, I suppose, if you want to be particularly pessimistic.
That was out, that was out, that was definitely out. Was that definitely out? I don't know.
Let's have a look. It's angled in. It does straighten a little bit in the air. It's possibly pitching outside leg, and I think that is going to go on a missed leg stump. I may be wrong. Michael Goff is the man adjudicating in the umpire's chair upstairs. Yes, in fact, it makes impact. I would say outside the leg stump, but it's given as umpire's call, and it's missing leg stump by 2 or 3 inches. Pakistan just hoping to get a run on England there, and it hasn't really worked, so they've lost a review. And England remain 159 for 6. Fred is back after sorting out his login.
So yesterday, Jono was saying, looking at the ball turning from Best, that England need 150 lead on first innings.
Yes, they do need that. Short, pulled by Wokes, but he picks out the man at mid-wicket, and there is no run. I don't think we would disagree that they need a lead of 150. They're not going to get it. They may get a deficit of 150 because they're 167 behind at the moment.
Well, that's the point I was making. If Jono is correct that England need a first innings lead and a substantial first innings lead if they're going to have to chase in the 4th innings, then they are very, very, very far behind in this game.
I think you're right. That wicket has made all the difference. This morning, if we'd added 2 wickets very quickly, we could have been bowled out for 130, 140. Absolutely. This is a fine Pakistan attack. In comes Naseem Shah. Bowls full, clipped away by Wokes. Clipped nicely. Diving figure of Shaheen at mid-on. Does some good work, actually. He only half stopped, but had to get up and chase it again, then hurled it back to the non-striker's end. But Wokes had come through for the single. England get their first run after lunch, and they move on to 160 for 6. Anyone can talk. Feel free to talk, people. I do leave you space.
Joe Grover says, I like Tony and he does not bore me. He's far better than Parkinson, and I reckon he could have Emu.
Yeah, that's good. We could set that up, couldn't we? Fight between Tony and Emu. I'm sure there must be. He must be living somewhere these days, Emu.
Jeff Perkins, sorry. Hendo, you think Tony Bishop has Parkinson's?
Shouldn't laugh at a thing like that. No. 3 slips and a short square leg. Also a gully, a backward point, extra cover, mid-on and a long leg, I think, for Dominic Best, facing his first ball from Naseem Shah. He's in, he bowls. It's well outside the off-stump, and Dominic Best will be relieved to watch that go past. Through to the gloves of Mohammed Rizwan. More tweets?
Jay Grover wishes he was a drama queen. Daft shite just happens to me.
Yes, okay. You don't go looking for it. Are you sure you don't go looking for it, Jay? I suspect you might on occasion.
I've got a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Have you? Well, we'll come to that very shortly. As Best settles down and waits for Naseem to come in again. He's in, he bowls, and he plays that well. Just a little bit of nibble away off the pitch, but he got right in behind it and into line and played it very well out into the offside. There is no run.
Alex Marlin says, quick question, who are all your all-time favourite cricket commentators, past or present?
I like me. Is that all right?
I like you. And Richie Benno.
Richie Benno is absolutely, he's the doyen. I have to say, Richie Benno, nothing surpasses Richie Benno.
Henno and Benno would have been my favourite.
Oh, I'd love that. It's not going to happen now, not unless we go and find a churchyard and dig him up. Down the leg side, down the arse, as Ian O'Brien would say, and no danger to Bess. England 160 for 6. More.
You do know the story about me ringing him up at home, don't you?
What, you rang up Richie Benno?
Yeah.
Did you?
A guy at one of the places I worked had a membership book from Woburn Golf Club, and in it was Richie Benno's address and phone number.
Ooh.
And I rang it, and the phone answered and just went, Benno, and I just put the phone down.
you were just so intimidated by the great man. I can imagine.
Just classic that he just went, Benno.
Benno. It'd be great to be able to answer the phone like that. In fact, that should be my answering machine from now on.
Benno.
Hendo.
When I was at the a test match at the Oval in 1980, a friend of mine, the two of us were looking for autographs after the game. We managed to wangle our way into the Oval Pavilion, and they had banks of public phone boxes there, and Michael Holding was on one of them. And he was talking to a friend, and they were making some arrangements, and he said, "Okay, call me on this number, whatever, on Sunday morning." So we took down the number and called that number on Sunday morning, and we said, "Can we speak to Michael, please?" And they said, "No, he's in the bath."
Yasir starts the new over, bowling to Wokes, who gets right forward, defends the ball on the line of middle and leg. Oh, small Fred.
So, he was in the bath, so we never got to speak to him, unfortunately. But
Who told you he was in the bath, though? Or
whoever
was he
answered the
answering
phone.
in the bath?
No.
Okay,
no.
onto the back foot goes Wokes, plays this quite nicely into a cover field that's been reinforced with one extra man, so we've got a ring of 4 now. Shadab Khan is the man who does the fielding. No gully, I think, for Yasir Shah. He's got just the slip in as a close fielder.
This could be a new feature. Famous cricketers you have phoned randomly.
He's in again, and Wokes gets a big stride in, reaches for that, plays it well enough. Back to the bowler, there is no run. Yeah, Michael Holding in the bath. Richie Benno just saying, Benno, can you beat that on the Twitter sphere? Can you beat phone calls to famous cricketers? Please let us know. Even try some now if you've got any numbers. In comes Yasir Shah, bowls to Wokes, and Wokes reads this as a leg spinner and lets it go outside the off stump, and there is no run. The sun is beginning to come back through again. It was just a very short delay this morning at I guess it was about 12:30, wasn't it, when they went off for 10 minutes or so. The squall came in from somewhere. Yasir in again, lovely ball to Wokes, but with a minimum of fuss, he just prods this back to the bowler. And again, there is no run.
I went out in the garden. It was boiling.
It is boiling. I'm sweating sitting here in South Wim. In comes Yasir Shah, and Wokes defends it back to him. That's a very good over. It's very well played. It's a maiden, and it's 160 for 6.
On YouTube, Alex Marmon says Roy Walker was the legendary presenter of Catchphrase who said it's good, but it's not the one.
No, he didn't say that. I think he said it's good, but it's not right. Good, but it's not right.
Yeah.
James Bristow says, really enjoying this from Jakarta, where the sun has set. Hopefully the sun will soon rise on this partnership. And Finn Lopesh, who's one of our more popular watchers on YouTube. Morning, Gorillas. Sorry, Garner joined late today. Had to do some work. Now started drinking IPA.
Oh, right. Okay, well, let us know what you're drinking. That's always a popular
IPA.
segment. Well, I know he is, but I was thinking about other people. The Bear. Someone was on some Jamaican rum yesterday, which sounded good. What was that called? Worthy or something? I think it was. Very worthy indeed, no doubt. Naseem Shah then into Dominic Bess. Bowls full on middle and leg. And he's going to go first run here as he punches up to mid-on. Nicely timed by Bess. He's off the mark. And England move on to 161 for 6. If you're just joining us today, England have lost 2 wickets. They lost Ollie Pope for 62 to an absolute snorter from Naseem Shah. His first wicket that means a lot on this tour. And then just after lunch, Joss Butler, who had been, he had resisted so manfully this morning and was just beginning to look like he was playing a few shots in the last quarter of an hour up to lunch. Second ball after lunch, plays just outside one from Yasir that he was thinking was going to turn a little bit. Bowled off stump. In comes Naseem Shah, bowls to Wokes. Wokes defends the ball. Not much of a stride in there, but full face of the bat. The ball runs up to mid-off, and there is no run. Favourite commentators? I wasn't going to say favourite commentators, but I'm of a certain age that I did used to enjoy the introductions and the linking and the anchoring of the bald man himself, Peter West.
I thought you were going to say Peter Walker.
No, well, I like Peter Walker as well, who sadly died not that long ago.
Yeah, jolly Welshman.
Yeah, he was a really nice bloke. Naseem in, bowls. This time Wokes punches the ball, but gets a bit of an inside edge back to the bowler, who was really aiming that through the covers.
We've got a phoning a cricketer sort of story.
Oh, good.
Sent to me from my brother, who was in the pavilion at Lord's, and the payphone rang, and he answered it, and somebody said, "Can I speak to Gahan Mendes?" So he had to knock on the changing room door to go and find him.
That's good.
Was Gahan Mendes? Did he play? I forget who he played for now.
Yeah, he played for Sussex and then Lancashire.
Oh, I was going to say, was it Sussex or was it Lancashire? And it was both.
Yeah.
There we go.
If my brother was there, it was probably Lancashire, because he's a Lancashire fan.
Okay, Naseem in again, bowls, back goes Wokes and defends. This time to extra cover. And again, no run.
Alex Marmon, am I right in saying that the 73 Test series between England and West Indies, the one where boycott was manhandled by West Indies fans, and play at Lord's was at one point suspended due to an IRA threat?
I think you're right, because I'm pretty sure I was there, aged 10, And I do remember this. We were sitting just where the old grandstand used to be, out the front on the grass, and I can remember there being some sort of announcement and people milling around and not quite sure what to do. In comes Nassim Shah, bowls to Wokes, who defends and nods his approval of the delivery that came back to catch the inside edge as he played, and it goes out on the onside. And again, there is no run. Lovely little spell that he's putting together here, Nassim Shah. He's going to take an absolute bundle of wickets, unless he suddenly shoots up and goes all wobbly and lanky and loses it completely. But I don't think he's going to do that. He's well built, certainly in the upper body. It's also got a very fast arm. And he's bowling to 2 slips and a gully and 3 in the ring on the offside, 2 on the onside, long leg as well. He's in again, bowls to Wokes, this time going back on his leg stump and pushing to mid-on. There is no run. That is the end of the over. England have moved on to 161 for 6.
It goes to... Sorry?
Who's doing tweets? I've forgotten.
Me.
Oh, okay. In that case, Nestlers.
The Ghost of Zoo has been on. I had better be getting mentioned here, he says. Messages on commentators. Nothing can compare with the sound of John Orr commentating. Just the sound of that run-out jingle evokes great memories. Neymar Butlins, like old Brian Johnson, or is that unfashionable? I love Johners.
Yes. Although I do, when you hear back some of the old stuff, you do think, they were the only ones doing it, really. There weren't alternatives. There weren't options galore. In comes Yasir Shah. Dominic Bess feinting as if to come down the wicket, and then going back and chopping it away to backward point. There is no run. What was I saying about commentators?
There was...
there's that famous bit of tape of Jono or Johners when England win the Ashes. I'm not sure what year it was. Bess leaves this one, turning away from him. Rizwan whips it back towards the stumps in case he's lifted his back foot, but he hasn't. And he goes, England have won the Ashes! They've won the Ashes! They've won the Ashes! And my God, it sounds like something from, I don't know, P.G. Woodhouse or...
Yeah, I know, but that's what it was at the time.
It was, but I know, but some of that was all right. Some of it wasn't, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with it.
It was of its time, Hendo.
It was of its time. Defended to mid-wicket by Bess, and there is no run. I'd certainly rather have Jonas than Danny Morrison, if you're describing a dramatic piece of cricket commentary. Although I may not be on the right side of history in that one. Lots of people do like Danny Morrison, those guys that watch a lot of IPL, amongst other things. Bess is beaten by that one. What a ball that was. In fact, he's got an edge to that, and it's come off the wicketkeeper, and it's been grabbed by Asad Shafiq, diving back from slip, and Yasir Shah is on fire. Dominic Bess feels a little bit unlucky, and England are in all sorts of trouble. They're 161 for 7. It was a good catch, but it was a catch that should have been taken, really. It's come off what looks to me like the shoulder of the bat and a bit of thumb, which has slowed it down and made it loop up a little bit. And that is why Dominic Bess is now wandering back disconsolately to the Old Trafford Pavilion. He made just 161 for 7. Where is Durban Oak? Because surely by now...
Well, he's not on. But Jay
Grover, get him.
Grover is, of course, is.
Yep.
And he's got a phone call story.
Good. Yes.
But first off, he says Stella and Chivas Regal.
Okay.
Never had to phone a cricketer, but had to once phone to confirm Woodrow Wyatt's press contact number. He was very, very drunk.
Very drunk. Oh, interestingly enough, I saw today someone tweeting that it is John Woodcock's 94th birthday. John Woodcock, former cricket correspondent of the Times.
Yeah, it's astonishing. He retired about 30 years ago, and God bless him, he's still going strong.
Well, absolutely, and every now and again he's wheeled out to write a piece because no one else can remember very far back. So we say, well, let's go to Wooders. He knows everything from the 50s, and we'll get him to write a piece about it. Out to the middle comes Jofra Archer. This is the time for Jofra Archer to put in some really hard graft and see if he can get England up to 200, please. Just 200.
And now it's
That's all
time
we're asking
for
for.
Jofra Archer.
Well, England have lost 2 for 2 since lunch. He's in, bowls to Archer. It's the googly. It's very short and rather flat, and he's played that away behind backward point. Shadab Khan runs up to the ball, then almost treads on the ball, loses his balance, falls over, somehow gets it back into the keeper. And while that's all been happening, Jofra Archer has come back for a second. Every run is crucial now for England. 163 for 7. Oh yes, he nearly tripped himself up with his own feet there, didn't he? That was rather good. Yassir Shah in again, onto the back foot goes Jofra Archer. He gets that through the infield. There is a man guarding the boundary. Do they really need a man to be guarding the boundary with Jofra Archer there? Anyway, they take a single, 164 for 7 at the end of the over. Yassir now has 3 for 44. Archer has 3. Wokes has 16. Yes, Fred.
I've got some more info on the Lancashire dressing room at Lord's.
Right.
Ian Foley was wandering around the starters, and Clive Lloyd was carefully combing his hair in pink boxers.
Great scenes from the dressing room. That's the kind of thing we like to know about.
Yeah.
I've told you my story about ringing Richie Richardson in the Lord's West Indies dressing room at Lord's.
So, this would be the time, since we're talking about ringing cricketers.
Well, no, I have. The thing is, I don't want to bore you with it if I've told you before, and I think I have. I rang him up to follow up a story that was in the Telegraph when I was working for a magazine called Third Man, and he answered the phone. I said, "Can I speak to Richie Richardson?" He goes, "Who wants him?" And I thought, hang on, that could be Richie Richardson. Is that Richie? Who wants to know? And eventually, he gave me a very nice interview. That's all I can say. It's not a massively exciting story, but it was quite interesting.
No, it isn't.
That you could get through to Richie Richardson on the blower in those days, from your very own house. Defended on the back foot by Jofra Archer, up to mid-on as Naseem Shah starts his 15th over. The young man getting through plenty of work today. They bowled 5 overs overnight. He's now, as I say, into his 15th. 10th over of the day. And we have 3 slips in the gully, backward point, short square leg. And also a man out at extra cover, mid-off. Here comes Naseem Shah into Jofra Archer. Jofra Archer defends that one. Not really getting very far forward, but it was quite a full delivery. And the ball runs back to Naseem Shah, who throws it to his captain, Azhar Ali. Interesting, we were talking about the captaincy and the fact that we were never very impressed with Sarfraz Ahmed as a captain. I've been quite impressed with Azhar Ali. His field changes have been quite, I wouldn't say innovative, but he shows he's thinking about the game. And he stands at mid-off, obviously wants to be near to his bowlers. Some captains like to stand in the slips as well, so they can see what's going on. But he's at mid-off.
Where did Sarfraz used to stand?
Well, where he should have stood was behind the stumps, but not always. This is played up towards mid-on by Jofra Archer. Times it quite nicely. Shaheen Afridi has to run round to his right 10 or 15 yards, and they get through for a comfortable single. Archer moves on to 4. Wokes is on 16. And we're halfway through the 59th over. I don't want to worry anyone. If, of course, we don't lose a wicket in the next 20 overs, it'll be almost time for the new ball again. But I suspect that England will be out well before the new ball is due. Anyone want to disagree with me?
Well, you never know what's coming, do you? But no. I think it's fair to say that if England get to 240 from here, they'll have done very well. And I'm not sure I can see them doing it.
No. I agree with you, Fred, unfortunately. In comes Naseem Shah, bowls, and is pulled by Wokes, who seem to be pulling and simultaneously ducking. However, he's got it out to one of 2 men deep behind square, and he's got through for a single, 166 for 7. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of the short ball used against Wokes, because he has shown in the last year or so that he's quite suspect about anything aimed above sort of chin height. And, maybe they're just bowling well enough.
He's been doing some work with Stuart Broad to sort out that issue.
Yeah, all you got to do, he's saying, all you got to do, Chris, is you got to edge away towards square leg,
back away and slash,
duck and throw the bat at thin air, I suppose. 2 slips in the gully, 2 men, as I say, back, 1 at long leg, 1 at deep backward square, mid-on and an extra cover, as well as a backward point. Here comes Naseem Shah again into Archer. Archer plays a limp shot, it has to be said, outside your stump. There was a little bit of away movement. and he was beaten all ends up. And through to Rizwan it goes. More tweets, Nestlers.
Yeah, Tim Everington says, evening Gorilla, Dad umpired some school games in Sydney and got Mark Ward's phone number as the coach to contact. Every time he's on commentary here, Dad likes to threaten to see if his phone's on.
Yeah, I suppose the thing is people change their phones these days quite regularly.
Not the number though.
Do they not? I mean, I don't, but I thought some people do.
You take it with you.
I thought you did.
People just tell you that they have, Hender.
Yes, I never get through them. Bouncer from Nassim Shah rather loops over the top of Archer's back, and there is no run. 166 for 7. England resumed after lunch at 159 for 5. But in those few minutes, in those 20-odd, 30 minutes, Pakistan have stolen a march. More tweets.
Neymar Butlins wants 86 not out from Broad.
Yep. Stir memories of Lords 2010. That would be fine. We'd be quite happy with that as England fans. Of course, if you're a Pakistani fan, you don't want to see that. I would not imagine.
And you asked for Josie Oak, and he's here.
Is he doomed? Are we doomed?
He didn't say that.
What did he say?
Yeah.
He
says Pakistan would score 350 and England would limp to 200.
Well, we are limping at the moment. We are hobbling as Yasir Shah comes in. Forward comes Wokes, defends that neatly enough to extra cover, and there is no run. Wokes has just scored 2 since lunch to take him on to 17.
John Thompson, however, has come in with doomed.
Throws this one up, driven by Wokes. Good shot, this one. Azhar Ali will be a second line of defence, I think. Is it Azhar? No, I think it's Sean Masood there. At mid-off, and he gets through for 1. No, that isn't Sean Masood. Who is that?
Who is that weirdo?
Is that a sub-fielder? He's that weirdo, as we regularly say here on Gorilla Cricket. Anyway, Yasir Shah.
Commentary ever.
Yeah, the bear
Was
is...
it Colin Munro?
Colin Munro it was, yeah.
Yeah. Why is he fielding for Pakistan?
He's not. Oh, lovely ball from Yasir Shah. Has Archer clueless as he goes forward, beats him on the outside edge. And Rizwan is showing how to keep spin bowlers, isn't he? Joss would be well advised to be sitting in the dressing room with a towel over his head, watching his laptop. Quicker ball, straighter, and onto the back foot goes Archer. Defends up to mid-on, and
He could just look out the window. It'd be a bit easier.
That was Sean Masood. I thought it was at first, but then it looked a little bit big for him. Anyway, we're having Shane Warne talking to us about leg spin bowling, showing us how he did it. Which is, yeah, pretty much that's what you do. It comes off the third finger, you turn the wrist, and magic happens. We've got a gully now as Archer comes forward, defends to extra cover. That is Azhar Ali, and there is no run.
Brian Barish is with us. These early shifts are doing his head in. I'm sitting here thinking the day's play is almost over. We're not even astern from lunch yet, he says.
No, indeed not. Well, it's almost over for England, you feel. They're going to be out in the field again very soon. Thrown up, Archer strokes this up to mid-off, who's set back, but the dummy run from Azhar at extra cover rather confused Archer, and he couldn't get a run. That is the end of the over.
I was trying to listen to Brian last night because he was doing he was live on Sirius XM, which is an American internet radio station, but I couldn't fiddle away to get on it without paying, so I couldn't.
What do they do on that particular station then?
What does Brian do?
Yeah, what do they do? What sort of station is it?
Well, Sirius XM's there's hundreds of different ones, but he's on he does American kind of commentating on Aussie rules football.
Oh right, okay.
I think I've got that right, Brian, haven't I? I just interested to hear what it was all about, really.
Okay.
Seeing as he listens to us talk about
You thought you'd return the compliment.
Yeah. Neymar Butlins, any thoughts about Vaughan's comments yesterday? He said when England bowled first, they learned nothing about their opponents. They certainly look surprised by this team now.
While that was happening, we had some drama in that, yes, Chris Wokes stroked it into the offside, came about 7 or 8 yards for the run, was sent back by Jofra Archer. The throw came in, and had it been accurate, I think Chris Wokes would have been on his way. wasn't far away, put in the full dive. But yes, it was Yasir Shah doing the work again. He's been a demon since lunchtime with ball in hand. And he was very close to getting rid of Chris Wokes there. He's saying only missed by an inch. I think it was a bit more than that, Yasir, I have to say. But Wokes survives. Yasir's bowling at Old Trafford in 2016 ended up being 1 for 266. In fact, in one of those innings, it was 1 for 215. He bowled 63 overs across the 2 innings. And he's taken 3 for 45 in 13 overs here. So he's enjoying his return to a place that may not have great memories for him. That wasn't far away. Wokes would have been on his way. And, well, when England collapse, they normally have a comedy run out, don't they? So it wouldn't have been a surprise had that hit. In comes Naseem Shah again, bowls to Wokes, plays a nice shot this time off the thick outside edge, just maybe opening the face of the bat through the covers for 1. And he goes to 19, 168 for 7. Will be a change at the end of this over. I forget who's coming in. I do know that Grubby is going to come and do a stint on Twitter for 1.
He's actually taking over the ball by ball.
Oh, you've given me your ball by ball, have you, Fred? You're such
Zoom
a generous.
issues.
You're such a generous soul. People just don't realise what a lovely fellow you are. There we go. We keep trying to tell them. We keep telling them. We keep telling them, but they won't have it. 3 slips in the gully, backward point, wide mid-off round towards extra cover, mid-on quite deep, mid-wicket and a long leg, fairly square. In comes Naseem Shah to bowl to Jofra Archer, and he sprays this one way outside the off stump. You get the feeling he was looking for a really big, loopy in-swinger there, and it didn't really do anything at all. Archer was content to watch it go by, and there is no run.
You're doing social media next, Endo. And
no, I'm not. That's what Fred's doing.
Oh, Fred, it's the Peter Jones one.
I bequeathed my Twitter stint to Grubby, and then not Fred bequeathed his ball by ball to Grubby. So we're all being very nice to Grubby at the moment. So we're expecting lots of good things from him. Why? I don't know why.
Never turns up, the fella.
Yeah, he just sort of pops in to do half an hour here, half an hour there.
And he speaks Scottish.
He speaks Scottish, and you know, you'd think he had a job or something. Full, and it's come off a thick outside edge, and it's run away through the slips. I think it was a bump ball. Don't think it was a catch. Anyway, they should get back for 2 there, and they do. 170 for 7 is the score. Archer moves on to 6, and Wokes has 19. Let's have a look at this again. Yes, it was down into the ground. It was effectively a full toss, hitting very low on the bat. Went straight down into the ground and found its way through the slip cordon, or as Atif Nawaz used to say, the slip cauldron, which is full of witches, wicked or not. Anyway, here comes Naseem Shah again, bowling to Archer. Archer gets this one off the outside edge. He was setting off for a run, hoping that had got away from the man at gully, but it was well fielded, and they don't get a single. I think there's still 1 ball to go in this over. Yasir Shah now has moved into the gully, or into 3rd slip, is it, in fact? He's at 3rd slip. Shadab is at gully, so he's been taken out of the covers. We often find him at extra cover, which is quite a good position for Yasir Shah at the age of 34. Still shows he's got a bit of pace in those little legs, and likes to fly through the air with the greatest of awkwardness. Naseem Shah will bowl the final ball of the over. He sets himself and then sets off up to the umpire, past the umpire, bowls, gets that one to swing in. Big appeal for LBW, but I think there was quite a lot of bat on there, involved there. I think Archer is hobbling a little bit. There certainly was pad as well. No one is interested in taking it further. That is the end of the over, and hopefully the next voice you hear after Nestle Boy, or after Not Fred, will be Grubby.
Welcome, Grubby. In a bizarre guerrilla cricket scenario, most people are having difficulties with the technology today, except for Hendo, which is bizarro world, isn't it?
It's the end of the world as we know it. That's what it is. Now,
How do you feel?
Fine.
Well, it's England who are under pressure here, aren't they? 170 for 7 in reply to Pakistan 326. Yeah, it's a very delicate match situation. China in your hands stuff. And England will do well here to make a game of it. Anyway, Knuckle, hello.
Hello.
Hello to you.
Hello, Billy.
It's.
Let me read some tweets whilst nothing's going on. I don't think anything's going on.
I've got a question for you, Fred, in a minute as well.
Well, Dave Wood says Josh should be looking up the playing conditions for the Bob Willis Trophy. I don't really want to subject Grubby to that because he's a founder member of the Josh Butler fan club. There are quite a lot of those, obviously, involved in guerrilla cricket. There's too many broken hearts around at the moment. Peter Jones says, I carried Chris Gale's bag up to the West Indies changing room at Chester Street. It had Universe Boss written on it in big letters. Chris was reclining on the physio table looking at the girls on Instagram. He did not thank me.
That all
Sounds about right. But apparently he's a very nice man as well. Yassi is going to continue. Excellent figures of 3 for 45. This is pushed back defensively by Chris Wokes. And there is no run.
Brian Barry says, you're correct. I'm the lead commentator for the USAFL, which is the US Aussie Rules Football. One of the XM channels is running a weekly Aussie Rules show aimed at Americans. I was interviewed a couple of weeks ago for the show. It'll be on August 20th, so I'm told.
Defended back at the trap by Wokes again, coming forward. Watchfully.
And I will be in the sea, etc. So Shan's innings is the difference here, I think. He allowed Pakistan to ride free every time England's bowlers had them over a barrel.
Certainly an excellent knock. This is allowed to pass through to the keeper. A big spinning leg break.
In fact, it's
he says
almost
it seems
exactly
the sort of pitch that, while demonic, you are never in, would not fancy batting fourth on it. Well, we don't know who's going to bat fourth at this point.
Perhaps no one. Oh no, that can't be true. This is bowling him. It's bowled him. All ends up. A terrible shot by Chris Wokes, looking to swat it through the leg side, and only succeeding. If he got anything on it, it was the tiniest under edge, and he's been bowled, and he's got to go.
Yep, given that it's Yasir bowling.
Got him! Why did he do that? Unbelievable!
Horrible hack from Chris Wokes.
England in danger of free falling here. Now,
Yeah,
I've got a question. I've got a question for you, not Fred. I was listening with great interest earlier. A very secretive man you are, a man who likes to keep his personal details close to his chest. But a few details leak out every now and then. You have a brother, something I was unaware of until quite recently, who's a Lancashire fan. You say
He is, yes.
So presumably he's not Jack Simmons.
Well, I have made that very comment on Guerrilla Cricket before, so obviously you weren't listening to all my output. I'm very disappointed.
And fools seldom differ.
Yeah. Let's run through some tweets whilst we wait for the inevitable walking wicket Chris Broad to come to the crease. Do I have to be nice to Grubby as well? Asked Mog. I don't know. Do you have to be nice to anyone?
I prefer it when Mog is horrible to me, because then I feel that the world is spinning on its correct axis.
Steve Kellett says it's reassuring in a way. We may have total global pandemic and be teetering on the edge of the biggest recession since the South Sea bubble burst, but England are still batting like drains in the first test of a home series. He's right. Some things never change. Well, Stuart Broad. When you see Stuart Broad coming to the wicket, it's the final countdown really for England's innings. You can't really see them digging out too many more runs. I mean, he may get lucky and thrash a 30, but that's about the best we can hope for at this stage of his career. The fact that he's in at number 10 is just a bit of an indictment of England as well.
Sweep the leg, Brody. Got the best headband around. Something has got to keep her down. Got the best headband around. Your ego ain't gonna be kept down. Got the best headband around. Even though your hair is thinning now.
Well, yeah, as poor as Broad has been, although he batted, slogged well against the West Indies, he's still better than Ginny Anderson.
Not much in it, I don't think, anymore. There used to be, but I don't think there isn't that much now. Yasir now has 4 wickets to his name, and Pakistan have England suffering at 170 for 8. A couple of men round the bat, one at leg slip, one at short leg, one at slip, and Broad defends his first ball back up the track.
This is a game we used to do on Guerrilla Cricket, Broady Bingo. Tell us how many runs he's going to score, how many balls he's going to face, and how he's going to be out. I'm going to go 9 off 12, caught at mid-on.
Well, I was going to go for 10, funny enough. A 4 and a 6.
He's going to be bowled by the first fast bowler to bowl him, surely, whilst he's standing on the umpire's toes at square leg.
Yasir's bowled a no ball, I think.
Over the line!
Yep.
Huh? I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
It's coming round the wicket to the left-handed Broad, firing it in at middle and leg. and Broad plays it back with the full face of the bat up the track. Been another terrific display from the Pakistan bowling battery, hasn't it? Been looking to beat the outside edge, and beat it they have regularly. The kid Naseem Shah bowling with plenty of energy. Abbas doing his normal Abbas thing. Not seen too much of Shaheen today, but I'm sure we will later on if needs be. This is defended into the offside by Broad, and there's no run. It's the end of the 62nd over of this innings, and England at a parlous 171 for 8.
Well,
Abbas has been fantastic over the last couple of years. I mean, he just plugs away. Once he gets into the groove, you can't. There's no way that you can. He doesn't let you. He doesn't let a batsman get away. I mean, he's constantly nagging at that length, like Glenn McGrath used to do, or Pollock used to do for South Africa. He's just the type of bowler that you're never comfortable against, and his figures reflect that.
Yeah,
he's often bracketed with Philander, and perhaps even Ryan Harris as well. That sort of
he's a good
slightly workhorse of a
7 or 8
bowler,
miles an hour
but
slower
superbly accurate and always challenging the outside edge. Now we are going to see a bit more of Shaheen Shah Afridi next, and here's his jingle.
Certainly are. He's bowled very well yesterday and again this morning.
It's always time for Shaheen Afridi. No, not that other guy, that's Shaheen. It's always time for Shaheen Afridi. No, not that other guy, he used to find the ball. Shaheen Afridi, Shaheen Afridi.
Left arm over outside the off stump, and it's a cut by Archer. It's half stop there at point, and they come through for a single. I suspect that he saved his team 3 runs there at point. It was hit pretty hard.
Conor McAnally says the mistake Wokes made was to be flashy rather than embracing the blandness that makes Wokes. The haircut has gone to his head.
In what way?
Literally and figuratively.
In that there was an attempted pull shot and attempted flamboyance from the previously copybook Chris
I see.
Wokes.
From Wokes. Yeah, I see. Yeah, he's got bogged. He got a start, didn't he? He'd done pretty well. He'd weathered some tough times, and then you just feel like it's a soft dismissal going back and trying to flay Yasir through the onside.
Shaheen to Broad. What is he going to do?
Well, he's got a short leg in, so the short ball's in play, isn't it? 2 slips, a gully. Rizwan's kept very well today as well, hasn't he? Standing up to Abbas and also obviously to the spinner. Here comes Shaheen. He fires it down the leg side. It's misdirected, and another decent take down the leg side from Rizwan.
Yeah, he's kept very, very well up to Mohammad Abbas, and also with some really prodigious late swing after the ball had passed the stumps, diving around here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
Hombre Nuevo says Broad bingo, 26 off 19, caught top edge down the leg side from a lunatic swing.
I'll take that right now as an England fan. 26 from Broad. But he has yet to score. 4 balls he has faced, and here comes Shaheen to bowl him his 5th. It's fired in again at that leg stump. He's really targeting it. Half a red ball single there, up to mid on. He's sent back by Archer. Broad probably did complete a run of his own there, but unfortunately 2 halves do not make a whole in this instance.
Yeah, we're waiting for Broad to start backing away to square leg. It's less, stand and deliver than sort of run away and deliver.
He's done some work on his batting with Peter Moores, and Peter Moores basically told him to just embrace the fact that he now stands leg side of the ball and tries to slog.
And he's got a very good eye, and so he might come off occasionally, as he did against West Indies recently.
Well, the comparison Peter Moores told him to look at was Shane Warne's batting in the 05 Ashes.
This is flicked away down towards long leg, and he has been 2 leg sidey this whole over, I think, Shaheen, really targeting that leg stump, and it's gone all the way to the boundary for one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
A nearly cultured clip off the hips. Shane Warne's batting in the 05 Ashes, particularly at Edgbaston, and today is the 15th anniversary of that magical final day at Edgbaston.
Is it so? Goodness me.
How many did they need at start of play? It was only about an hour's play that morning, wasn't it?
They needed about 80 from memory, with 2 wickets. And then Warne trod on his stumps, thank the Lord. And then eventually Kasparovich, in inverted commas, gloved one. Here comes
And up went the crooked finger.
Up went the crooked finger, and he almost does bowl in this time. Unfortunately for Shaheen, it's an inside edge from Broad, looking to drive that one, but getting the inside edge, runs away to the long leg boundary for a second one of these.
Is there a more annoying tail ender in the world to have score runs against you than Stuart Broad?
Ishant Sharma.
Ishant Sharma just blocked. He doesn't try and play any shots.
Well, that can be annoying in its own way, can't it? Matthew
Jimmy
Hoggard
Anderson,
would be in that
probably.
bracket as well. Hoggard. It's funny, you look at Hoggard's batting average, it's really low. I think he was better than that, but he just loved being on naught for ages.
He had no shots at all.
This is more of a length delivery, and this is smashed over. Extra cover by Broad. A couple of bounces into the fence, and that's 3 in a row.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
3 in the
I shouldn't
opening.
doubt him, really. You know, when the going gets tough, Stuart Broad gets going. Let's run through some tweets. Yasser Shah and Ian Austin separated at birth. Maybe not Fred's brother knows. I'll ask him. If he takes a bunch of wickets, the Englishman will be calling him a bastard tonight. A bastard, all right. Says Mog. Sorry, I misread that. Tai Ping Shan says Stu, 20th century boy at Lords against Pakistan. Remember? Yeah, I think we do all remember that. We remember that test for many reasons. Nitin Bajaj, haven't heard from you for a while. Says, hello, folks.
If I may pause at that point, I don't think it's right to call into question the validity of his innings.
I don't think anyone has.
Just because
It
of
was
a
an
few
unbelievable.
no balls that proved to be a bit dodgy.
Incredible partnership.
It was an unbelievable innings.
But Pakistan did have 8 fielders on the boundary for the last 70 runs. Possibly.
Well, and he did score lots of boundaries nonetheless. I mean, his back foot driving was like sodas. It was extraordinary. We thought we'd found a long-term number 6. Nitin Bajaj says, hello, folks. So England continue with their habit of disastrous first test of a series. One of these days, they will run into a side that won't capitulate in match 2. And then where will they be?
West Indies
Well, they'll probably be down under, I would have thought.
West Indies did not capitulate in the second match of the series.
John Thompson says 8 off 6 clean bowled. Well, is he pleased past that already? So you've lost.
Yasir starts a new over, and defending it into the offside is Archer, and there is no run.
Broad bingo from Dave Wood, 7 off 18. I'm afraid you've also you can't. It's like blackjack. You can't go once you've gone over, you've lost. Even if the 18 ends up being right, you're bust.
Yeah, my 10's gone. Knackles 9 has gone. This is full, and Archer taking a leaf out of Broad's book, really, but not quite so successfully. He plays it aerially through extra cover, and they come through for a single. That was a very full delivery, and he lofted it into the offside.
More Broad bingo. Evil Scooter says 12 off 17, stumped after overbalancing an attempted forward defence, ends up flat on his face, facing his own stumps.
Well, you'll need 8 dot balls and then that.
And then
I think the 8 dot balls is less likely than that, to be honest.
So still a slip in place, still a leg slip in place, still a short leg in place, and Broad is down on one knee and sweeping this one quite successfully. The man runs in from the boundary at backward square, does a very sharp piece of fielding. They're going to have the bails are off, the wicket is down, and we're going to have a look at this, but I suspect that Archer has made his ground.
Conor McAnally says, not trying to curse Broad, but I think he's looked a lot better recently. Probably unfair to judge him harshly against this attack. And Dave Wood says, I'll have you know, which is always a good start.
Yeah, I like that.
To a tweet. I saw Hoggy hit 2 6s in an over for Leicestershire in a T20 game.
I'll go to the foot of our stairs.
I think, Grubby, you were next to me when we were commentating on a charity game that Hoggy was in, and I said something along the lines of, Matthew Hoggard played first-class cricket for many years, now he's at Leicestershire, and he gave you the finger.
This is another aerial shot squirted away over point by Archer from this next Yasir delivery, and just out of reach of the diving fielder there, and they come through for a rather fortunate single. I wasn't next to you on that occasion, Fred. I've been at 1 or 2 charity functions with you, or games with you, but not that one. Aiming that over the leg side, Joffre was, but he's a better batsman than this. We keep saying it, don't we? We've not yet seen it in the Test arena.
Well, he batted nicely in the second innings of the first West Indies Test. This is the only decent innings he's ever had in international cricket.
Broad is back, playing it carefully into the onside defensively. It just rather squirted on at him off the pitch. Bit of a flatter one from Yasir.
This is now analysis rather than Broady bingo, but watch for the leg slip.
And this is more flighted this time, and he's down and sweeping, and I think the man at short leg has worn that one. It's Abid under the lid there. I don't think he got all of it Broad, otherwise he might be a little more prone than he already is, the fielder, but he did wear that one. The result is no run, and it's the end of the over, the 64th of the innings, 187 for 8.
Steve Kellett says, you guys are hilariously out of sync on YouTube. It's like watching the water margin.
Well, hot mic is always a thing, Steve. You could download that.
Lee Cheap Wiggy says, say hi to Knockfred's brother, another fan of the Red Rose County. Well, you can speak to each other. I mean, you do know each other. Litty Bajaj says, Broad will be Yassir's 5th. That's a reasonable call, I would think. Messi Jess says, the last time England didn't lose the first match of a series was November 2018 in Gaul.
Yes, that's right. Unless we count, well, I guess we can't really count.
How many series ago was that?
Well, so since then there's been West Indies, the one-off test against Ireland, the Ashes,
New Zealand,
South Africa.
Now, Azhar Ali is putting a bit of faith into Shadab Khan, the second leg spinner in this team, and he's going to come on for a little bowl now.
Was that just one over from Shaheen?
What's the matter, you? Show a little respect.
First ball is just outside the off stump, and Archer stretches forward to defend it back up the track.
He was Pakistan's lead spinner on the last tour in 2018.
And he's in now with a much more agricultural action than his buddy at the other end, and forward comes Archer defending into the offside. He doesn't have the luxury of a leg slip, but perhaps he will when he's bowling to the left-hander. We shall see. Archer takes guard. Shadab comes in, throws it up outside the off stump, and Archer says, thank you very much, I'll have a drive. You can keep bowling me those all night long.
Yeah, a little bit over pitch, but a good hard slap from Archer through cover.
Yeah, this is a real challenge from both these bowlers and the captain, I suppose, thinking that he's got a better chance of getting a wicket by tempting these batsmen to make a mistake, and that's certainly the way they're bowling. This is defended into the offside again. Decent bit of work by Baba, who will be pleased with the way he batted, but probably not so pleased with the way he got out first thing yesterday morning. But pleased with his side's position in the game, no doubt.
Shadab didn't have a terribly effective tour in 2018. None for 34 and 2 for 63 at Lords, and 1 for 50 at Headingley. Although Mohammed Abbas had done most of the work at Lords, so he didn't really need to do too much.
Who was that, Knuckle?
Shadab.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up, your face. Here he comes again, Shadab, to bowl to Archer. It's full, it's on leg stump. He gets something of a leading edge on this, I think. It just runs back up the pitch to the bowler, who does his own fielding.
I think that short leg is standing a little deep. I'd want him to move closer, actually, because I think if he does get a little thin nick...
It's a full bunger, that one. Yeah, terrible delivery. Fortunately, he's got both mid-off and mid-on back, and they converge, and between them they do the fielding. He's appealing for a run-out. This must have flicked his hand and then flicked the stumps at the non-striker's end. Well, no one's predicted this, I don't think, in the people who are playing Broad Bingo. Broad doesn't seem overly concerned, but we're going upstairs to have a look at it, so we shall report in due course. He's very tall, Stuart Broad, isn't he? Because he's standing next to Jofra Archer, and he is significantly and noticeably taller. Now, the ball did indeed flick Shadab's finger. It did indeed cannon into the stumps. Broad wasn't backing up at all. He just stood in his crease. I mean, that's
one of those rare times that not backing up actually works for you.
Well, I was going to say, you should be told off for that. As juniors should be told off for not backing up, wouldn't you?
He'd be dropped by Owen Morgan for that.
So, and therefore, he's a bit lucky. 192 for 8 at the end of Shadab's first over.
Archer was a bit unlucky. Archer was a bit unlucky there at the stumps, because that was screaming away to the boundary.
Well,
was.
More Broad Bingo.
Yassir to Archer, who defended the offside. Yes, Fred.
Mike Millwood says 30 of 15 caught in the deep. And we're up to date on Broad Bingo.
Key of the door.
Statos, I have a question for you after this.
Nice flighted spinning delivery outside Archer's off stump, and this time discretion is the better part of his valour.
When was the last time we had 2 leg spinners bowling in tandem in England?
3 days ago at Lords. No, at the Oval. We had Sam Robson and Nathan
Oh, it's a quicker one from Yassir. Very much an appeal after the event for a caught behind. Rizwan took the ball and about a second or two later went up. Yassir then went up. Archer sees the funny side. I don't think he's saying, I got nowhere near that, mate, I tell you. Still, they reviewed this. The LBW they reviewed a little while ago was poor as well, wasn't it?
Was. They had 2 reviews.
They got a look, didn't they, from Kettleborough to say, "You sure you want to review that?" Which I quite like that bit.
Some distance, Joffrey Archer.
Reviewer.
Yeah, well, you've got the reviews. You might as well waste them.
Yep. They've now only got 1 left.
Such nonsense, isn't it? That way of thinking. You got the reviews, may as well use them. Well, no, use them when you think you actually might get a result. And when you clearly will not. Yeah, lots of work to do for captains the world over, I think, particularly on LBWs.
Yeah, I should clarify, when was the last time we saw that in a test in England? 2 leg spinners.
And this takes Archer on the hip, a bit leg-sidey there from Yassir, didn't spin quite as much, did bounce though, and it's run down towards long leg, and the man runs back from slip to do the fielding. They come back for a couple of leg byes.
Bonus points if they're 2 actual leg spinners, not like Gary Balance bowling leg spin.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think whether Stuart McGill ever played in this country at all. In fact, I can't remember him in this country. He usually played on Ashes tours that I remember when Warne wasn't available for whatever reason. But I don't remember McGill ever bowling over here.
No, he bowled with Tim May quite a bit, the off-spinner in his early days.
Yeah, this is another drive from Archer, or an attempted one through the onside. Rather leading edgily, finds its way to a deepish mid-off, and they come through for another single. Archer has 15 now, Broad 13, and the score is 195 for 8. 1 ball left of this Yassir over. On the cusp of another test match, Michelle.
It would be his second in England after the 6-fer he took at Lords. It would be his 17th 5-fer in
he's got
in
good
his 40th test.
Bloody hell. That's a really good strike rate of 5, isn't it? This is defended by Broad into the offside, and there is no run. It is the end of the over, 195 for 8. Yeah, I'd be interested to know which current bowlers have a better 5 for strike rate, if you will. So he's got 17 and 40.
Is pretty ridiculous.
Who, sorry?
Ashwin's is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. Possibly Mohammed Abbas, even. He's got a fair few, hasn't he?
Mitchell Starks is very good.
Yeah. But I reckon yes is better than, say, Nathan Lyons, for example, I imagine.
You know, when you have bowlers like Murali who are a lot better than all the other bowlers in their own team, they're more likely to get them. So Mitchell Stark is generally surrounded by, other quality bowlers, so it's harder to pick up likely.
Yeah, you're never always comparing exactly apples with apples, are you?
No. We've got a possible 2 leg spinners bowling in tandem. I'll give you.
Oh, okay, that's good. Shadab's going to get a second over. Archer plays it from the crease defensively into the offside. Yes, Fred.
Pakistan tour of England in 2006, as Conor McAnally had Canaria and Afridi bowling together.
Oh, that's good.
That sounds good.
Definitely at Lords when England scored over 500. So it's good omens for England.
Shadab tosses this one up. And Archer duly accepts the invitation to drive, and drive he does up to long off, and they come through for another single.
2 quite good leg spinners, those 2.
Things I'd never expected to hear. Mog singing Joe Dolce. What next? The Pipkins, Benny Hill, or Peter Kay? Over and over and over again.
Hartley Hare. 196 for 8. England wheezing their way up to 200, which will be some sort of psychological summit to conquer. Broad still there on 13 from his 12 deliveries. He's played a couple of decent shots, and he's played a couple of very Broad-like shots, it's fair to say. Shadab's going to bowl to him. He comes over the wicket, staying over the wicket to the left-hander, and Broad is forward and just nudges it out quite expertly back right next to pad into that short cover region, and they come through for another single. Well played.
If either of you can guess how Brian Barish has turned something we mentioned on Guerrilla Cricket as a connection with Aussie rules football, then you're very good.
I've just read it, so I'll recuse myself.
Okay. Tim May was mentioned, and Tim is currently living in Austin, Texas. And his son Ben is a very good footballer.
Is he taken behind? There's a big shout for caught behind. It's been given. Archer has been given out, caught behind. A spinning, bouncing delivery from Shadab. He looked disappointed, but didn't really hang around even. Oh no, he is discussing it. He's discussing whether to review, so maybe he doesn't think he's hit it. But it has been given out by the umpire.
I don't know whether they reviewed this or not.
Well, we don't know as yet. Can't quite see on the.
If anything.
Some inconclusive action replay happening at the moment. They didn't look utterly convinced, I don't think. But umpire Kettleborough stuck the old digit up, and Archer is indeed on his way. So Rizwan takes the catch behind. Shadab has his first wicket in his just his second over, and England may not yet get that 200. 197 for 9.
Yeah, not a huge amount of turn, but a bit of dip and sharp and quick bounce and zip off the wicket. Archer, I think, actually might have been trying to leave that with very low hands, and it just took the glove, and a good catch by Mohammad Rizwan.
So just to finish off that tweet from Brian Barris, she said that Tim May's son plays for the Austin Crows Aussie Rules Football Club, and he's one of their best players. Jay Grover says McGill played for a few counties, but I don't think he played Ashes in England.
No, I don't think he did.
And Evil Scooter says, is it just my imagination, or does Shaheen have a rather bolt-sized mouth?
Just my imagination, you say?
That's what Evil Scooter says.
Well,
I haven't examined his mouth. I'm not a dentist.
He's sort of a big man with small features, Shaheen, isn't he?
Apart from his hair, which is huge.
His hair is massive. But his other features. I'm sure hair counts as a feature, doesn't it?
By the way, Jofra Archer, 16 off 33 he made in sometimes good and sometimes agricultural fashion. 1-4.
So Pakistan certainly have the power in this match, and England doing their best to fight the power, but not really succeeding at the moment. They'll be wanting to take on some of these bowlers. In fact, I think in tandem and as a team, they've almost been saying, take on me. Almost thinking that that's the way they are going to make these batsmen make mistakes. But actually, that was a genuine dismissal. It wasn't like he slogged it up in the air. It was as Knuckle described, a decent delivery that didn't spin particularly violently, but did bounce significantly. And
to be fair,
what ultimately did for Archer.
Fred, we were talking about this a bit yesterday. I think you mentioned it, Fred. Getting a catch in the deep for a leg spinner in particular is a genuine mode of dismissal, particularly to the tail. Oh, absolutely. It's attacking fielders. Boundary fielders for spinners are attacking fielders.
That was a great delivery. We're just seeing some replays of the earlier wickets. It was an excellent delivery that got through Joss Butler's defences. I know it went through the gate, so you could say batsman error, but it was a tiny, tiny little style that it went through, wasn't it? And a great bit of bowling from Yasir, I thought that.
Yeah, done by the drift and the demon non-turn. As ever, you're always a little bit guessing when you're playing for turn. A lot of bowlers have been done, batters have been done like that by Yasir, who does get a high percentage of bowls and LBWs for a spin bolt, for a leg spinner. It's becoming a thing, this losing the first test, isn't it?
It has a bit. Jimmy Anderson drives at the first ball he receives from Shadab, which goes across him. He doesn't make contact. It's taken neatly by Rizwan. And it's the old stages.
Just going to get Jimmy's
jingle together.
Sorry, just going to get Jimmy's jingle in before he's out.
Stretching forward to this one and defending it into the offside. Yes, is there? Yes, I think there is. Oh, shall we? And they're through for a scruffy old single. The wicket is down once again. I'm not sure we're going to go upstairs because I think Broad is most certainly in, but there was definite hesitation there. It's amazing, isn't it? You play this game for such a long time and yet still can't spot when there's a long single on offer. And
I'm disappointed that, because with Jimmy against the spinners, it's forward defence, sweep.
Reverse sweep.
So we're going to be denied that for the minute.
We saw Shadab first ball to James Anderson, the googly, which Yasir Shah just barely bowls googlies, despite both of our jingles mentioning them. He has the one that goes straight on, and he has the sort of top spinnery thing, which is really just a variant on the leg break. Shadab has a very good googly.
Yeah, and we're just seeing some comparisons of wicket-keepers here. Not the two in this match, although there's been plenty of that going on, but more Rizwan with Shane Darrich of the West Indies. And we saw that sickening blow he took to the face. Was it Shannon Gabriel was bowling when that happened?
Yep.
I think it was.
Managed to
horrible.
Managed to deflect the ball into his own teeth.
Yeah, I don't think he lost any teeth though, did he? He did quite well to retain them all,
Cutlet.
given what happened.
I don't think he had any choice in the matter, to be fair.
What about whether he retained his teeth or not?
Yes, yeah, it was a conscious decision.
Yes, around the wicket to Jimmy, who stretches forward and plays one of those trademark defensive shots into the onside. And there's no run. 198 for 9, England on the brink, teetering once again in this first match of a series. Terrible record. You'd have thought it'd be different this time round, wouldn't you? Given that it's come off the back of another series, but not to be. Anderson lunging forward once more. It takes him on the body and drops down in front of him on the onside.
Yeah, but it's now, it's not dependent who they're playing. It's at home. It's all around the world. It just seems to be happening everywhere and every time. I can't actually put on a finger on why.
Oh, he gets the reverse out, Jimmy, and plays it pretty successfully. And that races down to the third man boundary, and he's going to pick up one of these.
I'm almost angry that worked.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
Jimmy's reverse sweep is a thing of horror.
The thing is, though, I mean, you might just argue that he's as likely to get out not playing that shot as playing it. So, given that it's one of his scoring shots, I say let him play it. I don't think it's irresponsible. And he's clearly practiced it a little bit. A leg slip and a short leg. This one spins down the leg side. A threat of a suggestion of a hint of an appeal, but they don't go through with it. And England have got beyond that 202 for 9. 2 balls left in this Yasir over. He's still seeking that 5th wicket. What would be his 17th 5th wicket haul in just his 40th Test match. Thank you, Michael, again. Thrown up outside the off stump. Beautiful piece of bowling, and Jimmy didn't really know much about that. It just ballooned up off his pad back down the track.
Would be his 3rd fifer in England, of course, because he did take a fifer at the Oval in the second innings for that series.
Round the wicket he comes again, and this is dabbed at suspiciously by Anderson. It drops into the onside, and that's the end of his tribulations for now. 202 for 9, England. What you got, Fred?
Brian Barry says, this is one of those instances where I wish the collar on target was 100. I feel like England doesn't deserve to try and get a manageable target. Well, I think even if it was, I'm not sure Pakistan would put England back in. I think they'd probably have another bat. Chris Acquire says, is Grubby playing a private game of pop song bingo? Tell me it's not true. Well, you'll have to ask Grubby that. Ralph the Wonder Llama.
We are broadcasting around the world.
Yeah.
All around the world, and I shall read the next tweet. Ralph the Wonder Llama says, the Burnley Lara, referring to Jimmy Anderson. And Farong says, need to drop the title of the first test. Opening test may bring success. I'm not saying this test is over, right?
I mean, if Pakistan bat big, and then England have got let's say we've got some of Sunday and some of Monday, it could turn out to be, what would it be? A real blue Monday for England. Here comes Shadab starting a new over. It's a full delivery, which is pushed up to wide mid-off. There's no one there, and Shadab has to race around to do his own fielding. And meanwhile, the batsmen come back for 2. Well played indeed. Spotted the gap, pushed it into it, and took the couple.
Easy game. When you don't try and do too much.
It would have been run out with a direct hit, mind. But there we are.
Yeah, I mean, hotels don't have 13th floor, do they? So England could just start the series with the second test.
Do they not? No hotels in the world have the 13th floor. Is that
true?
Well,
a lot of them don't, because people don't like staying on it.
I mean, it wouldn't bother me. There is no such thing as
not until you fell out the window.
Well, then it'd be too late, wouldn't it? Wouldn't have to make that decision again. This is defended back at the track by Broad. He's moved on to 16 at just better than a runner ball. Anderson has 5 at the other end. England trying to eke every last run out of this effort. 204 for 9. Broad's taking a new guard, like it matters, Stuart. Scratching away at the crease there, pretending he's a proper batsman. Let's see what he's got for us now. That's remarkably clean. Nary a mark on it. One slip, a short leg. No short leg, no leg slip this time. Defended into the offside. They think about another quick single, but Rizwan rushes round to do the fielding. Run around.
Surprised we're not seeing at least one quick having a go at Broad.
Yeah, this is obviously the plan to England's lower order, though, thinking they've got a better chance of getting us out with. Oh, that's an amazing googly that Shadab's bowled there. Not picked at all by Broad. I thought for a second it had bowled him. I thought for a second if it's not bowled him, that must be LBW. Perhaps height was just wrong. And then I thought, well, perhaps if he's got a nick, then he's going to be caught at slip. But I don't think any of those things have happened. And somehow he remains.
I thought he was going to be timed out.
Have you ever seen that happen in any club games at all? Either of you?
No.
No.
I've heard some mutterings about how long did he take him to come out here, but I've never.
That must be out LBW, mustn't it? If he's not,
very close. I think they might have reviewed.
Oh, they must have. Well, in which case, I've got a strong suspicion this is going to be out. It looks like he's hitting towards the top of middle stump to me. He's hit him. He's way back in his crease. I know he's a tall fella, as previously commented on, but this looks hellish close.
Yeah, it's hit him just above the back pad, but the said back pad is well inside the crease. And I think he's been completely done by Shadab, and Shadab has got 2. What a good selection ahead of Fawad Alam.
Yeah, and a good decision to bring him on at this stage of the game as well. This looks plumb to me, absolutely plumb. But it's umpire's call, would you believe? Just survives on. Actually, he was just trimming the bails, so a fair enough decision not to give it out. But
he
really,
is very tall.
The degree to which he flummoxed the batsman means that if he'd been given that, he couldn't have said he got lucky. Anyway, net result still 204 for 9. Stuart Broad is still there. I suspect we're going to see a big shot from Broady ere too long, because if they keep bowling those to him, he's not going to be there very long. Anyway, this is just tucked up to mid-on, and there is no run. One ball
I think we're going to have a change imminently. Who's coming in?
Tony's coming on to ball by ball. Nestlers is coming on to read tweets, and I'm staying where I am.
Righty-ho.
Right, Shadab bowling the last ball of his over, and it's turned behind square on the leg side by Broad, who steals the strike, much to Anderson's chagrin. Not. It's 205 for 9. Very much enjoyed being on with you fellas. Very much enjoyed popping in unexpectedly and impromptu fashion. And I'll leave you in the capable hands of Knackle and Nestlers and Tony.
Thank you, Grubby. It was lovely to hear you.
Yes, indeed it was. And wickets for Grubby as well, I think. Plus England, it would seem, are right up against it here. I had a quick look, and 294 for 4 was the highest run chase ever at Old Trafford. And you think, with a lead of 121 currently and 9 wickets down for England, it would be a surprise if they didn't have more than that to chase as an attempt to win this. As Yazir Shah is in, and I've just realised that my reception is appalling, and that looks like it may have gone for 4.
No, that was slammed over deep mid-wicket for 6. A beautiful pick-up slog sweep by Stuart Broad, beat the tall Shah Massoud on the deep mid-wicket boundary, and has cleared the fence.
You might have to keep going for a moment, Knackle, while I see if I can do anything to speed up what I'm doing.
I believe in miracles.
It's a fabulous jumping, leaping effort from Shah Massoud on the boundary. Broad's gone for it again at the top edge. This might be out. No, it's been dropped. An awful drop from Shadab Khan at deep square leg. He's such a good fielder normally, but it's gone straight through his hands and bobbled into the rope for 4. A little bit more dip this time from Yasir. Broad wasn't to the pitch of the ball. Oh, and that's a sitter from Yasir, from Shadab down at deep backward square leg. He's probably the best fielder in the Pakistan team normally, but that was an absolute sitter. Yasir denied a 5 on that occasion as Broad pushes the next delivery into the offside, and they scramble for 2 as Mohammad Rizwan from behind the stumps somehow manages to beat deep point to the ball. And somehow there've been 12 runs off the first 3 balls of this over, all happening, Nestlers.
So you say, I wished I could see it.
Oh no, what's going on?
Well, it's the CPU usage from Zoom is just so high.
Yeah, it's up at 62% on this current machine that we're broadcasting Wirecast out of. Not sure what zoom is. Oh, and a horrible hack from Stuart Broad as he tries to slug sweep this. He plays right over the top of the ball and it barely missed off stump. Really don't know how that missed off stump.
Yeah, I'm getting frame by frame view.
Oh, Christ. Well, Bears in at 5:30. Yasser in again, and Broad presses forward, tries to drive into the offside, comes off the thick inside edge to mid-wicket. There is no run. Broad on to 29. The now average is 102 with the bat this summer.
Greatest all-rounder in the world. I said it before.
Yeah, average of 102 and bowling average of probably about 13 now with the first innings. This turns a mile from the footmarks outside left. Broad's off stump, and Broad just about manages to jab the bat down, and it too short leg it goes. There is no run. Yasser still only on a 4 for Broad. Hit a 6, was dropped for 4. And has managed to scramble his way to 29. James Anderson's on 5. England 217 for 9, trail by 109.
I know he's a bit of a bully, but we all know that he has in the past been out of bat. But it's almost like he's cleared his head this year, and it's just, he's just taking it on. He's got 29. In this context of this match, compared with what some other higher placed batsmen have got, that's pretty good going.
It could be, as I said, he did some work with his county coach Peter Moores, who basically told him that to clear his head a little bit, stay leg side of the ball, concentrate on what he's good at, which is hitting the ball really hard. With the model being Shane Warne in the 05 Ashes, which is we talked about earlier.
The pressure's off him. He's not there to score runs, is he? So
we've got Tony back. Is that any better for you, Tom?
It's not looking good. No, it's rather like watching a very old film as they jerk in.
All right, I'll take over ball by ball.
So you'll have to take over ball by ball.
Shadab starts with a googly, which James Anderson tries a really rather horrible reverse sweep and comes off some combination of bat and pad into the offside. There is no run. There's a slip, a short leg, and a leg slip for Shadab to James Anderson. Tossed up, a full toss, and Anderson pushes this slightly aerially, but well short of the man at mid-off, who dives over the top of the ball, and they manage to come through for 2. This partnership now worth 22 from just 3.4 overs. Deeply irritating for Pakistan, 219 for 9.
The dynamic duo being irritating.
As Shadab is in another ridiculous reverse sweep from James Anderson right in front of the stumps, and umpire Kettleborough raises the finger. England have reviews left. I suppose they might as well use one, but I'm pretty sure this is out. England have, of course, reviewed it.
I was definitely in. Were you definitely in? I don't know.
James Anderson has tried to reverse sweep a ball that I'm pretty sure hit him on middle and leg. It was a googly from Shadab Khan, hence the little bit of drift. That looks absolutely stone dead from where I'm standing, or sitting rather. Umpire Michael Goff will be the person making the decision. Tony, do you want to get the scorecard up just in case we do have an innings break to waffle through?
I can happily do that. I'm trying to keep as much as I can off my laptop now to see if it makes any difference, but it's not.
There is no bat involved. The bat is a good stump's width away from the ball. Suppose there is... No, I don't think there is any suggestion that it's a missing leg. I'm pretty sure this is turned back, being the googly to the left-hander. Hit him in line, hit him on middle stump, taking out the top part of leg stump. Shadab Khan has his second wicket. 2 for 13 he ends with from 3.3 overs, plus his very good 45. England all out for 209 and concede a first innings deficit of 107. Much fight shown by England this morning, but it all went horribly wrong in the session. It really went horribly wrong a little bit last night, and then again after lunch today. Full credit to Pakistan, though, Tony. They've been superb with the ball.
Well, they have. There's a number of things. I mean, England don't start series well. We've heard that before. And admittedly, the West Indies series was only just gone. They had 5 days or whatever it was at home. But this is the start of a new series. Add to that, with every respect to the West Indies, I feel this is a slightly stronger side in Pakistan. I think they don't have the top order batting issues that the West Indies had. And I think that 3-man pace attack coupled to, real capability in the spin department. And don't forget, they've gone for 2 spinners in this game and won the toss, putting them in the position to have England batting last and chasing. So when you combine those factors, I was already getting a slight, dare I say it, Jersey Okie, an impending sense of doom last night when England had to bat after tea, because in those conditions, decent for seamers, I always thought that was not going to be easy, and so it proved that the Pakistan bowled quite superbly last night. And then today, yes, some hints at a rearguard action by Butler, although not with really heavy scoring. They never looked close to getting beat. 200 always looked like the top end of what England were likely to score. They've actually got 19 more than that, which is a bonus. But if you think about a lead of, what's the lead, 107?
Correct.
If the lead's 107, if Pakistan put on another close to 200, then what would they need to score? So I was looking at that. 294 for 4 is the largest run chase
we'll be
ever
somewhere
done.
beyond that, I think. England could be staring down the barrel of a fourth innings notional target of 350, 400.
Yeah, and if that were the case, then I think that's precisely what it is, a notional target. And you feel that Pakistan probably have got their bowling horsepower to win the first game. So a number of factors: England's poor start, quality of opposition, good toss to win.
A bit of scoreboard
disappointing
pressure
for England.
Bit of scoreboard pressure as well. Pakistan got a score on the board thanks to Shan Masood and Babar Azam and Shadab Khan. There's a fantastic.
Yes, if your opening batsman's going to get 150, that's always going to make your score look better. Take that 150 out, and England would have a lead, right? So if he'd have been snaffled first or second ball, or just had one of those unplayable deliveries that did for him, it would look different. But it didn't. That didn't happen. And Pakistan, however you look at it, are in an extremely strong position. So I'll take you through the scorecard if you like. It is a bit of a tale of doom and gloom with one or two mini highlights. Rory Burns, he was LBW to Shaheen Shah Afridi for 4. Dom Sibley, he was also LBW, this time to Mohammed Abbas, who did bowl quite superbly last night. Joe Root, 58 balls but only 14. The New England approach of putting a premium price on your wicket. Well, he did that, but he edged behind to Yazir Shah. Ben Stokes came and went fairly quickly. Technique of batting well out of his crease, but wherever he'd been stood, it was almost an unplayable delivery from Mohammed Abbas. Ollie Pope did pretty well, 62 off 117, but finally he fell to Shah. He was caught Shadab Khan off Naseem Shah. Joss Butler, what can you say about Joss Butler that we haven't been banging on about pretty much all day? 38 off 108 for him, eventually bowled through the gate by Yazir Shah. Chris Wokes, again, only 19, 48 balls to get there, did his best to dig in, but he was bowled by Yazir Shah. Best came and went fairly rapidly. Again, Yazir Shah caught Asid Shafiq at this time. Jofra Archer, again he tried, 16 off 33. Now these batsmen are not getting out like first or second ball by and large. They're digging in and still then getting out, having sort of got a decent start to an innings. Much to the Jofra Archer, so 16 for him, caught behind off Shadab Khan. Much to the delight, I am sure, of the Twitter handle is Stuart Broad batting. 29 not out for him, so another Old Trafford not out for Stuart Broad. 29 off 25, 3 consecutive 4s at one point. He was the man left standing after Jimmy Anderson tried to reverse sweep Shadab Khan and got precisely nowhere. So 219 all out for England, rather more than we thought it may have been heading to at one point, but still some way behind what is a very healthy first innings lead for Pakistan. The bowling does make good reading for all Pakistan fans. Shaheen Shah Afridi 1 for 51 off 18. Mohammed Abbas 2 for 33 off 15. Superbly economical, shade over 2. Naseem Shah, 17 years old, but he's got another wicket to add to his tally in just his 5th test, I think. 1 for 44 for him. Yazir Shah 4 for 66 off 18. So the most expensive, but he's taken the wickets. Shadab Khan 2 for 13 for him. So the wicket already taking turn, Nestlers, and with a wicket that's already taking turn, and you've got to bat last, and you've already got a bit of an ugly deficit. Not looking good.
Well, as Messi Gestus points out, the way this wicket is developing, England would be struggling to make 150 in the fourth innings.
Well, that is very much the case. I don't know if the Bear's listening to us. It's everyone is apparently having issues seeing the pictures today. They come and they go.
Yeah.
Mine was interesting enough. Mine was brilliant this morning.
Well, mine was fine the other week, but do you want me to read some tweets while we're fiddling around? Let's have a look. See. So, Syed Siddiqui says, speaking of James Anderson's career prospects, he has excellent ones after he retires to the circus, where he faces 20 Shane Warne deliveries every hour. Ravi the heavy roller Reddy says, could we be looking at another first test defeat for England, or will Dom Bess rise to the occasion? Well, how many did Butler owe, says Peter Lloyd? Well,
quite a lot in the end.
Yeah, but it doesn't work
what did he get? He got 38. He was the second highest scorer in the England first innings.
Yeah, batted the second most balls in the England innings as well. I mean, I don't think you could really... He made a slight misjudgment of the line and tried to guess how much the ball was going to turn from Yasir Shah, but he really tried. He really worked his arse off, frankly. Perhaps, if anything, went a little bit too far into his shell, but his approach was the one that England have been, as you said, Tony, favouring under Chris Silverwood, of discipline and of patience. But yeah, it's a fighting innings and a good innings, but one that does nothing to silence anybody's criticisms.
Jay Grover says that's not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. Pollyanna that I am. And Leia, the Wicked Witch, says that smug batting, stat padding, preppy bastard Broad does it again.
I wonder where she was going with that. I was thinking it might be one of us, but
I don't know where she was going with it. It was quite difficult to read out.
Incidentally, and I'm not sure whether this is wise, we have seen Ben Stokes warming up with the ball.
Okay.
So he may be able to bowl rather. Which
interesting.
Perhaps we might say it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, horses and stable doors, perhaps. I think.
Just a quick technical question, and I don't know if this makes any sense at all. You know the people who are in the waiting room?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If they log out completely, like leave the meeting, Grubby, not Fred, and Dave Brooke, I wonder if that would have any...
I doubt it.
I think that's not a bad shout. Worth trying to see if that helps those of us trying to see the pictures. Could you try that?
We've had this many people on before. I think there might be some Zoom issue, but we'll try and work this out, because it's not ideal having only one person who can see the pictures.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it on my I've got it on my Now TV on my iPad, and it's perfect. But obviously, it's 2 balls behind, so it's not my internet connection. No. That's the problem.
No, I think there's some issue beyond our control. Anyway, we'll jingle up the Pakistan openers.
Sean Masood was born in Kuwait in October 1989. Less than a year later, Saddam Hussein invaded. Coincidence? Yeah, you keep telling yourself that.
And now it sends a warning, Masood he will be morning. Usually on a nice printed card.
Sean coming off that quite brilliant 151 he made in the first innings. Well over 300 balls. He faced Abid Ali, who's made 200s in his first 356, in fact, of 319 balls. Abid Ali got a snorter from Archer on 16. Has made 200s in his first 3 Test matches into his 4th now. And England have a hell of a lot of work to do, trailing by 107, to keep Pakistan even vaguely within range. We'll see the identity of the opening bowler in a moment. Fairly sure we know who it's going to be. Joe Root is just throwing some balls at Josh Butler and shouting catch.
That helps.
No one appears to have logged our Hendo's no Has anyone logged out who was
Well,
asked
they might not. Oh yeah, I was going to say they might not be there. They might not be looking at WhatsApp.
Well, it doesn't matter. They are still taking up space, as it were.
No, I'm saying they might not have seen the message.
No, the difference that'll make will be so small as to be barely worth it.
I genuinely think it's more a Sydenham issue, if I'm honest.
Well, it could be a Sydenham issue. It could be a Zoom issue. We don't know. But anyway, this is of limited interest to our listeners, frankly. Production meetings on air. This man is going to start, interestingly, from the James Anderson end, considering he's had most of his success at Old Trafford from the Brian Statham end. The hero of the first innings, Shan Masood. 300s now in 3 consecutive innings against 3 different teams. Apparently only the second player in Test history to do that. 4 overall after 1 in his early stint as a Test cricketer. James Anderson, who's had success against Masood in that period of his career. Into Shan Masood, the left-hander, who leaves alone through to Josh Butler. There is no run. The Pakistan second innings is underway. Pakistan lead by 107.
I'm very quiet on Twitter at the moment, I'm afraid. Let's have a look on YouTube. Biv is with us. He's enjoying it as a neutral. They've played beautifully so far. Pakistan must win. Well, they're favourites.
Certainly are. There's not going to be any weather interruptions for the rest of this test.
We said that today.
Well, yeah, that
we still got one.
That came out of nowhere, didn't it? Beats the outside edge, does James Anderson, with one that angles across Shan Masood. Who's beaten on the outside edge through to Josh Butler. It goes. There is no run. That gorgeous wobble seam that James Anderson is able to generate, which introduces an element of natural variation, as spinners like to say. If the bowler doesn't know which way it's going to go off the seam, the batter has no idea. Through to Butler, no run. Here he comes, the newly beardless James Anderson up to the crease and bowl, swings this down the leg side and nicely clipped by Shan off his toes, but straight to Ollie Pope at mid-wicket, and there is no run. Sort of forward square leg, really. Sort of in between a regular square leg and a regular mid-wicket. Nicely played, though, by Shan Masood. Restart things restart the computer at lunch to see if that makes any difference. At tea, rather, to see if that makes any difference.
Yeah, I think that might be the best move.
In comes Anderson, 4th ball of the over, back of a length, and Shan Masood drops this into the onside. Dom simply hurtles in from the cover region to field, and there is no run. What is England? Obviously, Pakistan's game plan is just to bat and bat and bat at this point. There's still a whole session and a bit of day 3 to go. They don't really have to worry about a declaration until probably some way into day 4. Certainly not for the rest of today. But what is England's plan? Come to that.
Hold them out as quickly as bloody possible.
Come to that after this ball. A horrible delivery from James Anderson. Would be a one-day wide. It's close to a test match wide, but is not signalled. There is no run.
The thing I would fear is that England rapidly decide to go on the defensive, starve them of runs, and try and give themselves effectively, therefore, less time to bat, i.e. make it hard for Pakistan to get to the total they're comfortable declaring on. I do fear we might see things go that way. I hope I'm wrong.
I mean, it's a good fallback option, I suppose, after, as Nesta says, trying to get early first innings wickets. That's a good delivery from James Anderson. Full in-swinging, and Shan is a little bit late on that, blocks it into the onside. There is no run, and maiden to start with from James Anderson. Pakistan having bowled England out in their first innings for 219, scored 326 themselves, lead by 107. Tweets.
Leah the Wicked Wish says, yes, restart the computer, you Windows using plebs. I don't use Windows.
Well, it's pretty much all Macs, actually.
Breaking news, India remain hosts for the 2021 Men's T20 World Cup, with Australia set to host the 2022 edition. That's from Pirate Badge.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Anyway, this man is on from the Brian Statham end.
Sweep the leg, Brody. Got the best headband around. Something has gotta keep her down. Got the best headband around. Your ego ain't gonna be kept down. Got the best headband around. Even though your hair is thinning now.
He's been slogging and wafting the bat with gay abandon in the last 20 minutes or so. Let's see if that fires him up as he comes in from the Statham end to Abid Ali, who leaves outside off stump, and there is no run, too wide. I always used to say about bowlers who bat a little bit that scoring some runs can give them a little bit of confidence. I always say that with Mitchell Johnson. Would be quite a time for Broad to go on yet another one of those match-turning spells.
Yeah, he needs to do one.
Well, what's the maximum that England could let Pakistan score? 150? I mean, after that, it's going to look like a very tall total.
Somehow dismissing Pakistan for 43 seems unlikely.
No, 150 from now.
Oh, I see.
Meaning that you'd have about 200.
Clipped by Abid Ali. Good fielding by Ollie Pope. Saved 3 runs, but Abid is off the mark, as are Pakistan. 1 for no loss. I mean, that would be a lead of 270 odd. From here, which would be somewhere within the realms of the possible but unlikely. Not looking good for England, but there's a hell of a long way to go in this test match, and weird things happen in cricket. They happen all the time. Shah Massoud scratching out his guard, facing up to the right arm of Stuart Broad, who will presumably come round the wicket to him from the Brian Statham end, where he loves bowling to left hand. Although Shah Massoud coped with that angle admirably in his mammoth first innings, 156. 2 slips on the gully, a backward point quite fine. Point slightly in front of square. Mid off a little bit wide. We've got a mid on a mid wicket and a man back at long leg. Stuart Broad making some very fine adjustments to his field, places his fingers lovingly upon the seam of that dark red Duke ball. He's in and outside off stump, 2 wide, and Shan leaves through to the keeper. There is no run. I wonder if England are going to bowl 2 feet outside off stump as the plan already.
Well, Grits and Grats says, if James Anderson ever tried to make a prank call, I bet he would ask to reverse the charges.
That was a no ball from Stuart Broad. He doesn't bowl very many of those.
Over the line! Huh? I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
As Broad is in again, the headband barely holding that those flowing locks, and that's a terrible bit of keeping by Joss Buttler, whose day with the gloves, or test with the gloves, gets even worse. It did die to him, but it's just rolled through his attempt at a stop down to the boundary for 4 byes.
The ball went through to the keeper, but somehow let it through, straight through the keeper, went through the keeper, gone through the keeper, that's through the keeper, it's through the keeper, straight through the keeper, went through the keeper, come through the keeper, that's through the keeper, it's through the keeper.
Wicket keeping is cruel. 4th ball of the over from Stuart Broad, as the camera pans to the pace, the pained expression on the face of Joss Buttler. Broad in, and Shah Massoud clips this into the onside. Anderson's in very quickly from mid-on, meaning that there is no run.
When I played cricket, I was a wicket keeper, and when I played football, I was a goalkeeper.
I'm a goalkeeper.
So there's no, there was always those moments where the whole team turns and looked at you without saying anything.
Yeah, I'm a goalkeeper. No, not often a lot of glory unless you save a penalty. Which you don't tend to do a lot in 8-a-side, because the penalty spot is about 5 yards away. I saved one with my face once, as Broad is in to Shah Massoud, who plays this defensively and with the soft hands, and it goes to that slightly fine point fielder. There is no run.
I once got asked to be poached by another team in our Sunday morning thing that we used to play, 11-a-side this is. We'd lost 7-0, and the manager of the opposition team wanted me to go and join them because the score should have been something like 22-0.
When he said poached, you sure he didn't mean boiled in hot water?
No.
Like an egg.
Last ball of the second over of the innings from Stuart Broad. Two-leg sidey, down the leg side. Butler appeals and it's given. Umpire Illingworth puts the finger up. Well, isn't Test cricket odd? 156 in the first innings and what looks like an 11-ball duck for Shan Masood. Nicely taken, skipping down the leg side from Butler, who may have his issues against spin, but still has only dropped one catch since coming back into the team as a wicketkeeper, standing back. Little tickle just off the face of the bat. Nicely taken by Jos Buttler, and Shan Masood will not add to his first innings heroics.
Then he waddled away, waddle.
Not much of a fist bump from Joe Root, I must say. Shan Masood gone for 0 off 11. Pakistan at 6 for 1 off 113.
Well, like you say, Test cricket, eh?
Q stats about players getting 150 and a duck in the same test.
Checking a company's returns policy, their first possible reason was dead on arrival. I liked returning England's top order for that reason.
Oh, come on.
Says Chris the Crier.
Scored 400 4 times in the last 8 tests, in the last 8 innings.
Jay Grover says, I don't know what OS Butler runs on, but it's overpriced and has the value ludicrously inflated by clit-like fanboys, says Jay Grover. Oh dear. Well, he just got his, he just took one, so maybe his confidence comes streaming back to him. I bet he was glad to see that settled in the gloves. God, I'm just watching it on 2 balls behind on Now TV.
Yeah, it was an easy catch, but he made it look easy, which is the point. This man's not making much look easy with the bat at the moment. Average is 11 outside Asia in the last couple of years. The Pakistan skipper.
My name is Asha Ali. Nobody I'd rather be.
Yeah, the ball that got Shan Masood didn't do a lot. It's not like it swung late down the leg side. It started on leg and just kept on going. And Shan Masood, his attempted tickle off the hips was just too fine.
Jay comes back, says, like Vaughan, my last comment was obviously inspirational.
That was the last ball of the second over, and this is outside off stump from James Anderson to Abid Ali, who plays inside the line, lets it go through to Butler. There is no run. Azhar Ali, of course, on a pair at the non-striker's end. Was dismissed LBW to Chris Wokes in the first innings. He played all around his front pad, and as I say, is pretty out of form over the last couple of years for such a prolific run scorer, a man with a Test triple century.
Roger McCann is with us on Facebook. Hello, Rog.
Hello, Rog.
Hope you're all right and enjoying the cricket.
In from his own end, right arm over the wicket. On leg stump and clipped nicely by Abid Ali. It'll be a chase for Dom Bess from mid-wicket. He will haul it in. They will stop at 2 as Bess races towards the square leg boundary. 3 runs now. Abid Ali is on. Pakistan 8 for 1, lead by 115.
So on Cricket Tracker we have Munir. He loves Pakistan. Baba is my best. Mohammed Shafiq, Azhar Ali, second innings.
Yeah, he'll need something for his own confidence. It might not matter all that much for the team and the state of the game, given the lead, but it will be important for Azhar Ali to get back among the runs as Abid Ali faces up to Anderson, right arm over the wicket. Crease now and bowls back of a length and beats Abid Ali on the outside edge. Abid sort of played inside the line of the ball, withdrew the bat from where the ball was, more or less, but I think a play and miss through to the keeper, no run.
So, Byron Barish is with us, talking about inglorious keeping stories. When I was 15, I was asked to step in as a catcher for our baseball team. Our first 3 choices were all out injured. I allowed 4 passed balls, think buyers, and we lost by 2 runs.
Oof.
The next day they stuck with me. I didn't allow any passed balls, which was good. Problem was, we lost 26-4.
Fullish outside off stump, and Abid Ali plays a very flamboyant leave outside off stump. There is no run. A little bit fuller from Anderson, trying to tempt Abid to have a drive at it. Beautiful seam position and shape away from James Anderson, the great artist. Closing in on 600 Test wickets, of course.
Leia says the fact that my probably legal audio-visual coverage is about as behind as my certainly not legal one made me smile a bit. Yeah, I pay Sky £39.99 a month for my Now TV sports thing.
Full and punched by Abid Ali up to mid-off, and there is no run.
But hey-ho, such is life, eh? Armchair Cricket Podcast. Oh dear, what a way for Masood to go in the second. After a first innings masterclass, this is probably just law of averages catching up with him, but Pakistan will not be happy with the start of their second innings. No,
Taking that as an average, you think you'd take a test average of 78.
Oh yeah.
There's Anderson into Abid Ali, who has an outrageous average going into this series of over 100. He plays the Marcus Trescothic lead, just manoeuvring the bat inside the line of the ball. Pakistan 8 for 1 after 3, lead by 115.
Tony, I'm up to date on social media for the time being. What have you got to say for yourself?
I was still trying to see what I could rescue from actually being able to watch something, which is not going well. I think England will be delighted with the breakthrough. 8 for 1 looks good. 123 for 1, not so good. 115. But certainly not for the bowling team. As I say, I think 250 and upwards is going to be tough if England can keep taking wickets and press home their sort of early mini advantage. That's, I feel, the only way they can stay in the game. Once the chase gets above 250, which is not that far away, then it's going to be hard.
Swinging the ball into Azhar Ali, who defends bat and pad close together off the inside part of the bat to Pope running around to his right from square leg. There is no run. Azhar keeps out his first ball. We're seeing how he got out in the first innings, or at least I'm seeing how he got out in the first innings. Full in-swinger from Chris Woakes, as I said. Azhar late on the stroke, playing around his front pad, and was absolutely plumb, and then wasted the review in ridiculous fashion. Camera pans to Chris Woakes, because the Sky commentators are obviously saying the same thing I am. Broad, very deliberate in how he places his fingers on the seam of the ball. That's the deep ball that served him so well over the last few years. Goes wider on the crease, angles this into Azhar Ali. No sharp movement away, and Azhar can lead through to the keeper Butler. There is no run.
Yeah, going back to Crick Tracker, Reader Malik is with us, Zaire Abbas, Diman AJ, Salik Abbasi, and Farhan Ali. You're all very welcome.
Presumably not that Zahir Abbas.
I don't know.
That'd be lovely to think he was
not
listening.
going by the picture.
Yeah, the great man of Pakistan and Gloucestershire. Third ball of the over from Stuart Broad up to the crease now. Bowls full and edged and just short of Joe Root at first slip. Played with soft hands by Azhar Ali, so it didn't carry. And I think Joe Root has taken a painful blow on the finger there for his trouble. Good delivery from Stuart Broad, though. Just a little bit of shape away that leg cutter. That seems painful. Just hit Broad on the end of the hit Root rather on the end of the finger as it bounced a couple of yards in front of him. You see this again. A split finger grip from Stuart Broad, and sort of heel of the thumb, really, on Joe Root's right hand, and it does appear to have swollen up a little bit, which is not good news.
No.
That does look nasty. The thumb is hanging at a slightly odd angle. It's a little bit swollen. It is not impossible that Joe Root has broken his thumb.
I think he's out.
That has swelled up immediately. The England physio is making very slow progress down the stairs because Joe Root is making very fast progress off the field, and Zach Crawley has come on in his place as a subfielder. Ben Stokes will now take on captaining duties. Root is definitely going off for some treatment, and just when England thought it couldn't get any worse.
Oh yeah, I'm just watching it on the other screen. That doesn't look good, does it?
No, you can see the swelling emerging pretty quickly. Broad into Azhar Ali, who is not looking at all confident. He plays that nicely, though. Full face of the bat out to the subfielder Crawley at cover, and there is no run.
Well, that'd be a bit of a blow, wouldn't it, for England?
Yes, indeed. They're already down a batter, of course, with Zach Crawley left out to accommodate the extra bowlers. But the first innings, certainly the post-lunch sessions on both days 1 and 2 showed it doesn't matter how many bowlers you have, if you bowl as poorly as England did, it doesn't matter. Ben Stokes thrust back into on-field captaincy. We've seen a lot of this sub-captaining. Of course, Mo and Ellie had to captain for the fielding portion of the England-Ireland game, the third one-day international, where Paul Stirling...
Which didn't go well.
Well, very well for Paul Stirling and Andy Balbirnie. Full outside off stump and clipped by Azarelli up to mid-on. There is no run.
Brian Barish says Masood's duck makes the memory of his first innings disappear, much like Tony Bishop's shoulders into his Zoom background, except for now.
Oh, well, that's seeing my study now. For now, Grubby is going to join and has a sufficient feed wherever he is to comment.
Is he going to take
what I'm looking at, WG Grace has just tickled a single and neglected to run.
They've won the Ashes, they've done it, they've won the Ashes.
In comes Stuart Broad to go and bash those Jerrys. Full outside off stump and left in almost Steve Smith fashion by Azarelli, bringing the bat up and then down in a chopping motion. 4 overs gone, and Pakistan are 8 for 1. Let's have a look. Yes, 8 for 1 lead by 115. A maiden from Stuart Broad, but at the cost of the England captain's thumb. Welcome, Grubby.
Welcome, Grubby. Brendan Stanton has sent a picture through of his deck, his beer on ice and his dog, and he says barbecue lit, beer on ice, wife away, gorillas on the speakers. I've made it.
That's it. It doesn't get much better than that. So yeah, hello, it's Grubby here. Nice to see you, Nestlers. And
all right, Grubby. I really enjoyed your commentary.
Let's not start that again. And hello again, Knuckle.
Hello.
For those of you wondering why I keep crashing the party, Big Tone's having a bit of trouble with his feet and stuff. So think of me as a replacement Tony.
That beard is.
It's a bit like Billy Connolly's, isn't it?
Yes.
This is short from Abid Ali and from Anderson, and Abid Ali plays off the back foot to Don Bassett mid-wicket. There is no run. Grubby, you taking over ball by ball?
I can if you want me to. It's whatever you want me to do. I'm here at your disposal.
Yeah, go for it.
I want you to do a little dance for me.
I think I've had my fill of doing things at people's whimsical requests. How about fill of that for this week, Nestlers? We did get that 20 quid in though, hopefully. It's in the account, right? Someone check.
Yeah.
Good. Abid on 3, faces up to Jimmy Anderson and comes forward, meets it with a full face of the bat and plays it up to mid-on. There is no run. 8 for 1 is the current score.
So, how was your mum's birthday?
It's actually Mum's birthday on Monday, but we are having a small and correctly distanced do tomorrow in a garden. So I shall see her then, and I shall report back.
Such are the times. Every time you ask someone something, they all go, "Oh yes," and we're going to correctly distance ourselves. like you're going, like you give a shit, really.
I think she was worried yesterday that I'd said it on air, but we were meeting up, so I thought I'd better clarify. This is through to the keeper, no shot offered by Abid, a bit wide of the off stump, that one. So Joe Root has gone off in recent times. I know you described that action. He a ball that came to him in the slips fairly quickly, didn't quite carry, I think, and one of those ones that just bounces and bounces up into the fingers. So he's going to have a bit of treatment. Hopefully nothing too serious there.
Just
right there on the bone, just
the base of the thumb, just where it meets the palm,
okay.
And there was instant swelling.
Well, we'll have to see. 2 slips and 3 slips really. One at a wider 4th slip. This beats him on the outside edge as he's forward, groping forward. Abid. Azza still has to suffer at the non-striker's end, still on his pair. As far as his team is concerned, he'll be delighted with the match situation. The lead currently stands at 115, and they've got all weekend to bat here, Pakistan, with the weather set fair. So, an excellent chance for them to take an early lead in this series. Jimmy Anderson.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah, after this, Nestlers. Jimmy Anderson is into bowl now. A full delivery on off stump, and it's defended up towards mid-off by Abid.
And a full size says, morning all. Quite relieved not to have seen the blow to Joe Root. I believe the technical term for that is yikes. And Jeff Perkins says, poor work there by Root. He had the choice of clutching his head and faking concussion, or pretending he had caught COVID to allow for possible substitution. Yeah. Probably not the first thing that comes to mind when you break your thumb.
No, first thing that comes to mind is, ow, my bloody thumb.
Yeah.
Jimmy's into his run up now, nice and smooth as it has been down the years. This one just shaping away outside the off stump, taken by Butler, bit of carry, and that is the end of that. The 5th over, 8-1 is the score still. What else we got on social? Where have you?
Well, I've got a few.
You
more
bled
accounts.
that well dry.
I've been bleeding it. While Billy Colony is perfectly fine, he's no substitute for Tony, says Jeff Perkins. Jay Grover says, "What are you getting, Barbara?" I like Barbara. Hello, Barbara, says Jay Grover.
We did a big shout out to. I don't think she knows I'm on at the moment because it was a bit of a last minute thing. So maybe I'll tell you. Shall I tell you then what I've got?
Well, she's not listening.
She's not listening.
You sure?
99%, because I haven't told her. And if I haven't told her, she won't have tuned in because she only tunes in to hear her boy.
Is she a Babs or is she a Barbara?
She's definitely a Barbara.
Right.
I mean, you could try and call her Babs and see if you get a response, but you're more likely to get a clip round the ear roll. This is defended into the offside, looking for that single that's going to get him off the pair, Azza, but it's not quite there. So he's looking a bit skittish there. He was a quarter way up the pitch, but sent back quite rightly by Abid.
Just
Stuart Broad.
Interesting point about Joe Root going off. We saw in the innings break Ben Stokes warming up. Does this make it more or less likely that Ben Stokes is going to bowl? The fact that he's now stand-in captain.
I don't know. That's a very good point. I suspect. I reckon he'll stay with his, the bowlers he knew he had coming into this, and then, if and only if it looks like he's required, will he consider putting himself on. That's a ripper from Broad, pitching on off and jagging away from Azhar, and bouncing and carrying through to Butler. And he remains on 0.
What are you getting her?
We've got her a lovely Greek-style urn for the garden to put a big old plant in.
Lovely. Terracotta or blue?
Not terracotta, it's blue.
The blue things are quite popular at the moment.
I was considering a terracotta, but the actual place we went to had a bit of a dearth of that sort of thing, so we went with the blue. And very smart it is too, I think. Wide in the crease this time, Broad, and it beats Azhar again. I think it was through him, that one. So he suffers some more, the Pakistan captain. Eyes go heavenward from batsman, bowler, fielders. Some adjustments being made to Ben Stokes' various bits of strapping. Actually beat Azhar on the outside edge there. I thought for a second it might have gone through, but on the outside edge.
Just shy of 6,000 test runs, average of 43, 1600s including a triple, and he's been made to look like a novice by Broad.
Yeah, but that can happen, can't it, in tricky moments in Test cricket. Earlier on today England's batsmen were suffering, and that's just in the face of some very good bowling. This is a nice looking drive, although the hand comes off, the bottom hand came off the bat as he played that one, as a perhaps testament to nerves. Zach Crawley is on the pitch to replace the temporarily at least injured Root. Azhar waits for his first run still. I mean this nicely. He's just a funny looking chap, isn't he, Crawley? I quite like the look of him. He's got a sort of look, half a public schoolboy and half a Supergrass style band member. Broad is in again, just outside the off stump. It jags back a little, but it's not enough to threaten the stumps, and Azhar lets it go through.
With a
little
bit of Labrador thrown in.
With a bit of excitable Labrador thrown in.
Yeah,
just a tiny bit of danger about him.
Joe Root, by the way, is at the boundary's edge with his thumb strapped up. This presumably means he won't be able to bowl if need be, or at least he'll have to take the strapping off to do so, but hopefully it's not as bad as first thought.
Maybe he'd do an Andy Zoltzman and bowl left arm spin as well as right arm. I've seen him do that in one game. Broad is in just outside the off stump. He's not quite threatened the stumps enough for me in that over, although did bowl a couple of jaffers. Azhar remains on not out off 12 deliveries, and that was another maiden, so the score remains 8-1.
Leah says, very well, Grubby, what's your position on gluten-free falafel sandwiches in your capacity as the Tony stand-in? Any recipes to share?
No, I've got nothing against them per se, and if it tastes good, then I'm happy. I'm delighted for them to exist and be useful to people.
Messages says, Jesus, of all the things that Grubby did on air yesterday, his mum's most concerned about the social distancing thing. What a wonderfully tolerant woman.
Yeah, if you met my mum, you would absolutely know how tolerant she is. and has been over the years.
Jay Grover wants to know whose ashes are in the urn that you've given your mother.
Oh, very good, very good. Anderson bowls a ball that goes away from Abid, and he flashes at it, not entirely safely, but he's going to get 4 runs as it races down to the third man boundary. I love those slow motion shots when a ball has been edged or has been played into the slip region, but very quickly those slip fielders realise there's no one there and their faces just go, oh, bugger. Abid faces up once more to Anderson, still 2 slips and a wider sort of 4th slip in place. This one again shapes away, and he doesn't offer a shot this time through to the keeper.
Lear the Wicked Witch, don't you think an M4 would have been more appropriate, Grubby? An urn might send the wrong message to your mum after her 60th birthday. I don't think it's not really an urn, it's a flower pot, isn't it?
Yeah, she's 70 by the way, not 60, 70. And that still makes her a child when she had me. Go figure. So yes, 2 slips, a first and second slip, a 4th slip, and a deep gully or a backward point are in play. This is just outside the off stump again from Anderson on a length, and it's played to point by Abid, and there is no run. 12 for 1 is the score. That lead now 119, and I can see Pakistan batting well, certainly right through tomorrow. Game probably won't go to Monday, I don't think, at this rate, will it?
Oh, I don't know. It's day 3. I mean, it's scheduled to finish on Sunday, so no.
What day is it today?
Friday.
I honestly, I have no idea.
Oh, of course, because it was truncated, wasn't it? It was truncated first day.
I thought it was Saturday today.
Well, days have no. Oh, this is edged. Is that caught? No, it's been put down. Diving across from second slip. Ben Stokes, not for the first time this summer, has shelled a chance. Diving across this time, perhaps even thinking that he's going to protect his captain who's got that injury. I don't know if he had time to think all of that. But either way, he's dived across first slip. He's got to the ball. He's got a full hand, at least one hand on it, and the ball has gone to turf.
Get rid of him. He's finished.
Way up in the sky, little darling. And if it falls, I'll pick it up. Just pick it up, mate.
Ben Stokes is a very good fielder, it seems, everywhere except slip. He's a bit sort of over-anxious, I think, sometimes.
Jimmy tries again. This time he half beats the outside edge, probably doing a disservice there. Abid didn't, just pulled his bat inside the line, straight to the keeper. But a chance has gone down for England, and all of a sudden, if it's 12 for 2, with that lead still at 120 or thereabouts, England will feel that they're back in the game.
Yeah, with the skipper on the other end, on a pair at the other end. Barber in early against the moving ball. I mean, he's a very good player, obviously, Babar Azam, and I'm sure he can handle it. But
the beauty, the cruelty of Test cricket, and moments like that can make or break a game. This is driven off the back foot by Abid very pleasantly, fails to stop it at backward point, and that is going to race all the way to the boundary for one of these.
there was a lot of talk, obviously, before coming back into cricket of what impact COVID would have on the series and on the play. I wonder if the relative lack of time to do fielding drills and to get that level of catching balls and fielding balls up has made a difference, because we've seen a lot of catches go down behind the wicket. And a lot of missed runouts and fumbles in the infield.
Yeah, that's possibly a factor. Azza then, can he get off the mark here? He's not going to get off the mark to that one. It's wide of the off stump and he allows it to pass through. This is Stuart Broad starting a new over.
Well, Anna Forsyth asked the question, going to stand in the slips after getting absolutely battered on the thumb, Yorkie bravery or pure stupidity?
Yeah. Well, somewhere between. What time is tea, by the way?
3:55, so in 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, 3 minutes time.
And I will be very hastily restarting everything.
Yes, we're having a few capacity issues when it comes to the video through our Zoom feed. This is driven at airily by Azza. That is not the type of shot you want to be playing when you are on a pair. And he misses it entirely. Stokes is looking exceptionally cross. You just see that colours turning up a bit in his face.
I do wonder though if you... I know some players just are more demonstrative than others, but you kind of got to just forget about that, don't you?
Well, that's the coach's thing, isn't
There
it?
is nothing you can do. It's gone. It has gone.
It's hard to sort of forget about it.
2 slips and a gully in place. That 4 slip has gone now. That would have been LBW if he'd missed it, but he just got an outside edge to it and it squirts backward a point, and Azza has a good old smile at that one, knowing, I think, that he came perilously close to bagging that pair as Root shines the ball vigorously.
It's like the caddy in golf after their players just sort of treble bogeyed a hole. Just say, right, put that behind you, next hole, next shot, and it's like the players just looking at them that they're going to kill them.
I'm sure more than one caddy has received a look, if not a slap in the head for comments like that.
Yeah.
But it's true, there is nothing you can do, and you do have to get on with it.
The ones who know don't say anything.
Yeah. This is tucked into the leg side by Azza. He still can't get off the mark as Ollie Pope does the fielding there. And it remains 16 for 1. And the USPGA has just kicked off yesterday, hasn't it, Nestlers? You've been watching that?
I have. And Messages sent out a picture of me caddying. I'm Bryson DeChambeau's caddy for that.
I think I saw that actually.
Yeah.
He's really ugly to watch, isn't he, DeChambeau?
I thought you could say his caddy was really ugly. He hits it a long way.
No, he just looks like some sort of roided up freak to me.
He's put on a lot of muscle.
3 stone he's put on the last 6 months, half of that during lockdown. This is defended by Azza back up the track. He still can't get off the mark. I've had a speculative punt
go
on
John Rahm?
No, Cameron Champ, whose his first round was 1 over. I note this morning. I went to bed. He had 1 hole left, and he was.
Cameron Champ sounds like an auto-generated name for an American golfer.
Well, yeah, I keep getting him mixed up with Curtis Campher of Irish cricket fame, just a pair of CC sportsmen that until recently I'd not heard of. So, anyway, he's my speculative punt. He's 6 off the lead. Here comes Broad again. Angles this one in to Azza, but again he's not threatening the stumps. Broad. He thinks he's got a better chance of nicking him off, I think. But for me, he could just adjust his line by 1 stump width, so that he is looking at the top of off rather than bowling.
Well, he talks a lot these days about his leave percentage and how often batters leave him and wanting that to be as low as possible.
Well, and I think you guys were talking about Mohammed Abbas's leave stats, or perhaps it was the other lot on the TV earlier. It's something around 16%, which I think is fairly low. Jimmy Anderson's going to wind up again after that latest maiden from Broad. Half a threatening maiden. I wouldn't call it a fully threatening maiden, but half a threatening maiden. Jimmy has been the more expensive of the 2 opening bowlers. He's gone for 10 off his 4. This is a bit short, and Abed is able to rock back on the back foot and guide that beautifully through cover point for the latest one of these.
Now my innings going, great guns, I hit the ball, 4 runs, I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
Beautiful shot, that really got on top of the bounce and steered it nicely through that cover point region and timed very well. 4 runs, well played. A bit short from Jimmy, that he won't be happy with himself.
Yeah, as our friend Manny Cohen is fond of saying, yeah, he can play that shot.
He can play that shot. And he did play that shot, and he has 15 of the finest runs to his name from just 21 deliveries at the start of this Pakistan's 2nd innings of the Test match. He's defending this one. The ball just outside his off stump, which he pushes to cover, and there is no run. Jimmy's got his thinking face on. Oh, hello, Dutch Bird. I've accepted your LinkedIn approach. Thank you very much. Don't know what business we'll do together. But, Dutch Bird Kate.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to me. I hate LinkedIn. It's so corporate.
Yeah, that's its thing. Yeah, Anderson is going to come in and bowl to Abid once again. 2 slips standing very close together. This beats him on the outside edge. It's through to Butler. He takes it cleanly this time. And the score remains 20-1. What has Dutchberg got to say for herself?
Well, can we do a quick shout out for all this people in Amsterdam? T20 match at 17:30. VRA Cricket versus Kampong Cricket Club in Amsterdam, Bos. A few international players on show. I shall be scoring from the 35 degrees centigrade balcony. No breeze, but there is a bar.
Well, consider yourself shouted out there, Dutchbird. Have a great game tonight, everyone involved in that.
Yeah, cricket
She's
going all over
she's
the
never
world.
far from a bar, is she?
There's a new tournament that's just launched in Canada, calling itself the British Columbia Tournament, but taking place in Ottawa.
Okay.
This is met with the full face of the bat from Abid, and he plays it defensively up to mid-on, and there is no run.
Ryan McNally says Stokes is the archetype of a high-quality second slip, a big solid all-rounder like Callister Flintoff, but it seems a waste when he's amazing in other fielding positions.
I still think, a little bit like Virat Kohli, I think the same thing. He's a little bit too hyper-energetic for the slips. You need to be very calm and non-reactive and just let the ball come to you sometimes. And
Yes, there's something in that, but I think, he's dropped a load of catches recently that you would not expect him to drop. He's such a good catcher of a cricket ball wherever he is, normally. This is driven, or defended really, back to Jimmy by Abid. No run.
I prefer Stokes in that sort of, either in the short mid-wicket region or in the covers somewhere, lurking and prowling, and where he can be really proactive. Well, he's taken some screamers at Gully, of course. It was at Gully that he took that famous catch with Stuart
Adam
Broad.
Voges, yeah.
But you got Dom Sibley's a very good slip fielder.
I think we've been having Sibley at Gully, haven't we, for much of this innings, or that's a deep Gully stroke backward point position.
Best ends up there a lot.
Yeah. This one is angled in towards the stumps by Jimmy and defended by Abid onto the offside. There's no run. It's the end of the over.
Interestingly, Message S sends in CricViz analysis of Ben Stokes. He's taken 76% of the slip chances that have come to him in the last 5 years. That's below the average for the established Test players.
Yeah, well, in that case, the average has gone up a little bit because it actually, to be fair, it hovers sort of between 75 and 80 depending on which year you're looking at. Anyway, that is tea on day 3. Pakistan 20-1, having dismissed England for 219, with Yasir Shah taking 4 and Mohammad Abbas taking. Mohammad Abbas took 3. And just look at the scorecard again. But all of the Pakistan bowlers were superb in that England first innings. Ollie Pope with 62, Josh Buttler with a hard-fought 38, and Stuart Broad with a slap-happy 29. Yeah, 4 for Yasir, 2 for Abbas and Shadab, 1 each for Naseem and Shaheen Shah Afridi. The man to go in this Pakistan innings, Shah Masood, caught down the leg side by Josh Buttler, skipping away down the leg side off the bowling of Stuart Broad for an 11-ball duck after his magnificent innings of 156 in the first innings. Abid Ali is 15 not out of 26 balls, but should have been taken on 7, and Azhar Ali is on a painful looking not out of 18 balls. James Anderson 5 overs 2 maidens, none for 14, and Stuart Broad, the pleasingly what's the word? The pleasingly sequential numbers of 4 overs 3 maidens, 1 for 2, but 4-3-2-1 is how you read it left to right. Pakistan 20-1 after 9 overs, lead by 127. Right, I'm going to restart everything.
Okay, I'll leave.
We'll see you.
Are we going to put anything on in the meantime, Knackle?
I can't. I've got to restart everything.
Okay, so well, bear with us. I'm just going to leave you all to it then, and after tea, tune in again when everything will have been switched off and on again, and we'll have the final session. But I'll not be with you because I've got to go and drink beer somewhere else.
All right, Grubby.
Have fun.
See ya.
All right, cheerio for now then, everyone. Bye.
Here's the man who's made today possible, Warren Dutron, Chief Executive of Cricket Ireland. Warren, thank you very much for joining us. It must be a very, very busy day for you today, and a momentous day.
It is indeed. I think you've caught the